Pascal, you are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Find somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good morning. Good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in great spirits, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let us not forget that, y'all. What's poppin'? What's good? What's happening? What's crackin' out here in these streets? How y'all feeling? How y'all been? You know what I'm saying? What has been up in here? Okay? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Real talk. Hopefully you guys are all just fine out there. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy mother-loving Monday. Woo! Yes. Happy Monday. Oh, man. It doesn't even feel like a Monday because we work throughout the week, throughout the weekends all the time. So it doesn't even feel like it's a Monday, even though it mother-loving is. Okay? But nonetheless, hopefully you guys had a wonderful weekend. Hopefully it was filled with all kinds of stuff. You know? Hopefully it was good. All right. Fantastic and all that. So please do me a favor. All right. Before we get into everything, hit that like button down below. Crush it, do it, hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick. Remember, I'm on all of them. So make sure you do that. Okay. We working our hard out here in these streets. Okay. Let you guys know what's popping and what's moving in these streets. So make sure you hit that follow button. Follow. Subscribe here to my YouTube channel. Subscribe. It's a simple ask. Just subscribe. Okay? Subscribe right here on my YouTube channel, the main one. Go to the second channel, the Pascal Show Clips. Subscribe over there as well. Hit that notification bell on both platforms or on both channels so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because honestly, it is random. Hit that join button down below, become a member, check out that Patreon, and of course, check out PascalMerch.com. PascalMerch.com, we got some really great stuff over there. Check it out. PascalMerch.com. Okay, guys. Woo! Okay, we got some things we have got to get into, guys. As I was saying to you guys before, all right? As I was saying to you guys before, it is day 5, day mother-loving 5 of the D4VD preliminary hearing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. It's preliminary day number 5 for the D4VD trial, or the D4VD preliminary hearing. I don't know why I keep on saying it's a trial. It ain't no trial. It ain't no mother-loving trial, but it does feel like it is. It feels like it's a trial. Why? Because we're finding out a lot of stuff. And of course, this is this is what they need to do. This is, I guess, standard procedure in the state of California, where they literally prosecution will show to the defense and to the courts, hey, here are all the reasons why we think this guy should be thrown away behind bars, why he should be convicted have taken the life of this very, very young girl by the name of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. That is for sure. Now we are here. Day 5, day 5th. All right. And what's crazy is that I feel like they've already shown enough. Like, we're going to be talking about we're going to be checking out a video by Trap Moore Ross. That is absolute. It's just crazy. It's just crazy what we're learning, what we've heard, what we've seen. Text messages, the text message exchange between between D4VD and Celeste Rivas says a lot. We are now hearing other things too, understanding other ideas, other things that he was trying to do whilst she was still on this planet, whilst she was still alive. And I think that a thing that a lot of people are questioning is directed towards the parents, Celeste's parents. But I also think that we need to be looking at D4VD's parents as well. Because from what I'm gathering, sounds to me that D4VD's mama knew all along about their very illegal relationship. At least that's how I'm gathering it. Because let's be real. Let's be real. They went down to Texas at one point. He introduced Celeste to his family, allegedly. Mama D4VD knew. They met her. There's no way, shape, or form that they looked at her and didn't think, wow, she's really young. Not a chance. But we're starting to get some ideas here. We're getting some ideas here. There's some very shocking information that we're going to go through. And of course, you know that we got a lot of people still in at the area covering the preliminary hearing. Some people have left, like the likes of Lauren Conlon. She left early. And understandably, I don't think everybody knew that this was going to go into the following week, like this week. I think a lot of people thought it was going to be done on Friday, and then, you know, we'll just have to wait for a trial date to be announced, and then we'll keep it moving, right? Now, here's the thing. I know that Mark the Shark is still out there. I know that Taylor Parise of LA Magazine, who also is a partner, you know, one of Lauren Conlon's partners, is out there as well, doing some coverage as well. So there is a lot that we're going to be hearing during the preliminary hearing for today. Okay. But there is a lot that we learned, or that are gathering from last week. Okay. Information about what happened last week. And I think it's wild that we are hearing about terminations, if you get what I'm saying, of said child, a child having a child. We're hearing about all these different things that, like I said, is very, very disturbing. So we have got to get into some of that right now. It's frustrating. It's frustrating what we heard, what we've known so far. And so I'm going to go over, there's a couple places that we need to look at. But like I said, the tail end of that trial, of the hearing, on Friday, a lot of stuff started to get unearthed. And we definitely need to talk about all of it. So give me a second. There's a few things. So we might feel like we're all over the place, but that's because there's just so much information, and it's been days since we've actually been able to talk about any of this. But let's take a look at Taylor Parise and her breakdown. And again, I appreciate all y'all for being here, okay? Really means a lot. Don't forget to hit the like button down below. Crush it, okay? As you come in, good morning to every single last one of y'all. Of course, we're doing a little bit of a recap of what happened on Friday leading into today. They have already started court about 30 minutes ago, a little over 30 minutes ago. So we will be discussing the updates when they do come out. Okay. And of course, they'll be doing a break at some point, and then, there's going to be a lot. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot coming out. All right. So, so let's get into this. And I'm assuming I haven't heard anything about anybody getting kicked out. I haven't heard that. Okay. Today, I'm saying as far as today, I haven't heard anything about anybody getting kicked out of the courthouse today. But there, some things happened last week that was pretty insane. Okay, for real. But let's get into this. Okay, because there's a lot to dissect and a lot to talk about. And Tia just said, if you mean the Trapmore Ross video with all the text he covered once he got back home, he posted on X that it was taken down. Oh, that's tragic. That's a bit unfortunate. Did he say why it was taken down? Actually, let me. That's news to me, because I watched that whole doggone thing. Hold on. It's like an hour and 45 minutes long. That was a long video. He took that down. Why did he take it down? Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, it looks like it's gone. Yeah, it looks like it's gone. Oh my gosh. I wonder why. Hold on, let me see. Let me see if if he had said anything. Let me see. Oh, wow. Wow, that's crazy. That is crazy. So this is what happened, because this is what's going to be a big chunk that we were going to watch today. A big piece of it from Trap More Ross, or Trap Lore Ross. Sorry. He has two different channels on YouTube. One's Trap Lore Ross and the other one's Trap More Ross. So I get that mixed up all the time. But Trap Lore Ross just put this out. Absolutely appalled at YouTube's decision to take down my video reporting on the text between D4VD and Celeste, and to give me a strike for content that echelons. Wow. And calling it predatory content. Wow. When it's very clear I have attended courthouse proceedings to carry out responsible journalism and informing the public on the case against D4VD. This video clearly educational, documentary, scientific, and artistic (EDSA) content, and allowed under YouTube's guidelines. There was no images or graphic descriptions. I see predator catch videos on this platform day in and day out. He's got a point there too. He's got a point. And then he gives a shout out to YouTube. He's shouting YouTube out. I hope you could reconsider, as this is important work to warn and inform the public. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. That is crazy. That's unfortunate. Now, I saw a good chunk of it yesterday, and there was a lot that he said that was absolutely wild. Now, here's the thing. Someone could have reported it. It could have been more than just one person reporting it for various reasons. Maybe because they think that D4VD is innocent. That could be it too. I mean, there's a various multitude of different things that could have happened here. But that's wild that happened. And I'm sure he appealed. But that's the problem with these platforms, you try to appeal and you'll get an immediate reaction or an immediate response from an AI platform. They use AI a lot, and that's one of the things that happened. Several, like not several, but like 6-ish years ago to me as well, because it was like they were just flying around. These AI bots were flying around and just flagging every channel. If you ever talked about the Rona, you talked about the poke. You get what I'm saying? I even say the code words now because I don't I don't want to mess with it. You know what I mean? Like I don't need these bots flying around. When you talked about the election, all those things, all those different things, you couldn't talk about a damn thing at one point. Okay? Shoot, that people were getting flagged for talking about the war in Ukraine when it first was popping off. They're like, please don't talk about the war in Ukraine. Okay, so we can't talk about anything then. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. Okay? But see, here's the thing. I know that other content creators have played that video. They might get in trouble for playing those videos. You see what I'm saying? So I guess we'll find out. I think it's wrong that they're taking it down. I saw the video. I saw a good portion of it. I didn't see the whole doggone thing. I was going to watch a good portion of it with you guys today. I assumed that it was going to be fine. You know what I mean? Thanks, T. I appreciate that, fam. But like I said, it's like you just can't say certain things because they fly around and then they, you know what I mean? They find that one word. You know, you could sit there and say, you know, vaccine in one time, and these AI bots fly around. They're like, oh, he said, you know, and then they just suddenly you could get your whole channel removed for saying something that this bot thinks you said too many times. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's sloppy, and obviously YouTube got better at it, but now I don't know. I don't know what this is. Okay. It's not like he was sitting there, you know, from what I listened to and from what I heard, it did not sound like he was going super graphic, you know, like he was reading an article from Penthouse, like some disgusting, disturbing article from, you know what I mean? Article from Penthouse or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Nah. So yeah, I don't know. Trapmore Ross broke down in one of his videos. It was just this was disturbing. He did a lot, Pascal. I mean, let's be real. He did a lot in this video. He covered a lot in this video. So I don't think he said anything bad. He's just reporting the news and he's reporting the information that was being said in that courtroom. That is it. So someone could have sent out, you know, a couple people could have sent out, like flagged his this video, and then, you know what I mean, made complaints to YouTube, and then YouTube went in there and said, oh, well, I can see he does talk about this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? So I don't know. You know, he was pretty PG-14. Yeah, PG-13, PG-14. I mean, like I said, I don't think he was like, you know what I mean? I don't think he was out there just being like, and I put the ding in it. You know what I mean? He didn't say any of that kind of stuff. But yes, he was talking about stuff that is very controversial and a very sensitive topic. But I don't think he was out here saying super bad stuff, which, you know, just saying that's stupid. It's stupid. He was just, yeah, Barbara. He was just reporting. That's it. Here's the information. Here's what you need to hear. Bing, bang, boom. So it's the same thing if the cameras were on inside that courtroom and they were going through the text messages. We would have seen it all. It would have all been covered. You know what I'm saying? So that I think is just, it's just trash. It's just trashy. But we're going to keep it moving. Okay, that's very unfortunate. Very, very, very unfortunate. But that's not going to stop us. That's not going to stop us from continuing and talking about what's going on. Okay? I mean, he used the F word, sure. But I mean, if that was what was written in the text, then that's what was written in the texts. You know what I'm saying? So we will get to that when we get to that. But first, let's go get over, and that's unfortunate. You know, I think he's been doing really great work, okay? I think he's been doing really, really great work. Shout out to Trapmore Ross, real talk, okay? I think he's been doing fantastic work covering this whole case, all right? I think he's been doing really, really great work. So hopefully this doesn't deter him. Hopefully this doesn't make him stop from doing what he has been doing, okay? But that is a damn shame. That is. Because it's not like he's glorifying it. It's not like he's romanticizing the illegal relationship that D4VD had with Celeste. You see what I'm saying? He's just reporting what was said inside that courtroom. And sure, he might have to, if he was to do the video all over again, it's an hour and 45 minutes long. He might want to just bleep out some words. I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry to say that, because I know some people are like, F that, I don't want to be censored. This is America, bro. This is America. But at the same time, if that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do, baby. If you want to get the story out there, sometimes you just got to abide by the freaking rules, which sucks. But it is what it is, right? So let's get into this, guys. We got some things going on, okay? So they said, this is from Taylor. So shout out to Taylor Parise. But she says, court hearing update. So D4VD's hearing will continue on Monday at 9:30 a.m. During the afternoon testimony from Detective Farrell from the LAPD. So they read through text messages text exchanges between D4VD and Celeste. Celeste was 13 and Burke was 19 for the majority of these text messages read. And then they say full story out on LA Mag, which we might go and hop over there in just a little bit. All right. And I'm going to say this now because there may be some very spicy content or spicy topics that I might have to hop around. Okay. I might have to use code words, all that stuff. But that's what I usually do anyway, because when it comes to littles and this kind of stuff, no platform is okay with this stuff. Okay. Just so you know. All right. Just a heads up. All right. And just so you know, the Crypto Crossroads show. Just so you know, Trap Lord didn't say anything bad. He was just reading the text messages that were going on between Celeste and D4VD. And I think from him, what he read, it was spicy. It was just too spicy. It pushed the envelope. All right. Just so you know. All right. So let's break this down. All right. Here's a breakdown of the text messages. Warning: these messages contain information about, an illegal relationship with somebody he shouldn't have been in a legal relationship with. Damn it. It pisses me off. Sorry, I didn't. Woosah. Pressure points. Woosah. I just hate it. I hate it. I don't know how else I could say this. I just mother-loving hate it. Okay? No person should be doing any of this when you're, what did she say in the beginning of this? 19? No, 19. He was 19. Okay? And she was not of age. How's that? Stupid. So, when the hearing resumed after an afternoon break, texts were read between D4VD and Celeste that detailed an illegal relationship. All right? Here's an overview of the texts read by the detective in court. D4VD and Celeste discuss future plans, including marriage and wanting 2 kids, possibly adopting more in the future. So they were planning a future together. Okay? Celeste, okay, so that time of the month for the ladies, some would call it Sharks Week, was brought up many times. Because maybe oh, dear Lord. Maybe because they weren't using protection. So that's why she brought it up a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? Okay, this is going to be tough. We're already venturing into choppy water, all right? Celeste frequently worried about another another time being with right there. Bun in oven again. While Burke would tell her not to worry, according to these text messages. D4VD stated in the messages that he tracked Celeste's time of the month and intentionally had, relations when she was not. I don't know how to say this. You know what I'm saying? But he did this multiple times. So he was like, oh, this is all, I intentionally did this stuff around scientifically. So I knew at the time you wouldn't be primed for conception. Does that make sense? All right. Throughout the reading of texts, she meant, Silverman repeatedly asks the detective to clarify her age. Specifically when messages became graphic. Throughout most of these messages, these very explicit messages, she was not of age. Let's just keep it real. She was not of age. She was not of age. She was not of age. And he was 19 years old. Their relationship continued through her 14th birthday. Burke, D4VD, wrote in messages that he did not want anyone knowing that he was having relations with her until they were married. On June 19th, 2024, Celeste asked if D4VD's mom knows that they're together in that way. D4VD's response says she thinks that's the first thing we're going to do when we see each other. What the hell do you think that means? What the hell do you think that means? What the hell do you think that means, babies? That means mama knew. Mama already knew. Mama been known. Remember, she's in charge of all of his finances. You don't think that they're having a conversation? This kid, the D4VD is a mama's boy. He's definitely a mama's boy. Mama knew. Mama knew. Mama knew. Moving on. She thinks that's the first thing we gonna do when we see each other. Like, all y'all, you definitely gonna be hooking up. Mama knew. On August 30th, 2024, Celeste expresses regret about a termination, saying she did this for D4VD. I'll just say it like that, okay? On June 27th, 2024, she describes painful relations with him, I guess, saying, quote unquote, it hurt. Yeah. Burke argued, D4VD, piece of trash, dookie face doo-doo head, D4VD, argued that he did not hurt her because he didn't hear her say ow. Huh? Okay. So Celeste responded numerous times saying that she, in fact, was hurt. Oh, my God. November 7th, it's crushing me, guys. Like, I can't even say this stuff out loud. You know what I'm saying? Like, or I can't say this stuff out loud without feeling like a little lump in my throat. You know what I mean? Like a little, like, $13. November 7th, 2024. Celeste stated that she had relations with D4VD for almost a year straight. 13. There was seemingly a conflict between the two. D4VD saying, you're treating it like it's the first breakup. He responds once more saying, this is the 8th time. D4VD later accuses Celeste of initiating physical contact, okay? saying he folds every time. I followed your lead, he wrote. What? Okay, now I really don't like this man. Do you realize what he's doing? Do you realize what he's doing? Do you realize what he's mother-loving doing? What is he doing? Now he is literally trying to manipulate and point blame at her. You're the one who's doing this to me. You're the one who's making me weak. I can't stop your advances. How dare you? You make advances towards me and I fold every time. It's your fault that this is happening. We've broken up millions of times. Why are you acting like this is the first time we've broken up? We've broken up 1,000,000 times before. This is all your fault, girl. Not mine. Wow. Dookie face doo-doo head indeed, right? Okay, I'm going to continue before I have a heart attack. Moving on. In the last hour of testimony, while text messages were read, D4VD seemed distracted. He was hunched over the table, scribbling on his yellow notepad and flipping through the pages. Only occasionally did he glance up, frowning while reading the screen. He would then turn back to his notes because he looked like a damn disgusting little PDF file that he is. So, forgot to mention, D4VD and Celeste confirmed, oh my God. So they made content. So they confirmed that content was made between the two. When Celeste asked if there was a tape or content, D4VD wrote, few of them, yup. What? Celeste asked D4VD not to leak it. And D4VD said, you don't leak it. $13, y'all. $13. You know what this also tells me is that, because he said, you don't leak it, right? That means they both had content. They both had content on their phones. She had her own stash. He had his own stash. I'm going to withhold what I want to say. I want to say something so bad right now, but I'm not going to say it right now. Give me a second. Still trying to process a lot of this. You understand? I'm still trying to process. Let's look at this too. More spicy information. Lauren Conlon posted this. Text between D4VD and Celeste when he was 19, she was 13, like we already know. First text thread would appear to imply his mother, Colleen Burke, was aware. First one. Here we go. June 19th, 2024. 1:18 a.m. Celeste, your mom. This is what she said. Your mom know we had relations yet? She thinks that's the first thing we gonna do when we see each other. So in other words, yes, she knows. She clearly already knows. Hold on, let me get this super chat, which I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much, Bellin. I appreciate it, okay? There are grown women who have a hard time dealing with the procedure. Hold on, with the procedure and the emotions after terminating. Yeah, after that procedure, okay? This 13-year-old little was so wounded and vulnerable to manipulation. He was a man-child that ran to mommy whenever he was in trouble. Damn. Read that down there. I totally agree. Okay. Mommy. Yep. Every time there was a problem. But mommy. Grown ass man, y'all. That's a grown ass man, by the way. Grown ass man. Now here's the thing. Let me just say this, and I'm going to take this off the screen because it's bothering me. Okay, and I'm sure it's bothering you. Don't worry. We're going to go into the next piece here in a second. Mama knew. Mama and mother loving knew. Okay, his mama at least. Did Celeste's parents know? I don't know. We're going to talk about that in a second as well. I also did a video about a message from somebody who's claiming to be Celeste's neighbor / friend, I guess, saying that she knows a lot. And basically saying, blame the parents. Blame Celeste's parents. Not David. Blame them. Wild. We may circle back to that in a little bit. But here's the thing. The only other side I could see is that Mama knew, but maybe Mama never knew her age. Think about that. It's still possible that when they went out and introduced her to the family, they just saw her as Celeste, who happens to be maybe 17, 18 years old, around the same age as D4VD. And that's it. That's possible. We got to leave that on the table because we don't fully know everything yet. And it's not like he's saying, oh, my mom knew you were 13. Yeah, indeed, she did. We haven't seen that in the text messages yet. All right. But they knew that there was a relationship going on. And apparently she was possibly knocked up more than just once. More than just once. He was sitting there going, oh, yeah, I'm brilliant because I timed, I have everything timed out. You weren't ovulating at this time. So it was the perfect time to go all in. What? What? Make it make sense. The only other thing I can think of is they're going, hey, he told us that she was of age, or they never even asked her age. They never even asked. They just thought, oh, she just looks young. That's the only other thing I can think of. Like I said, I'm not trying to give any family excuses or, trying to give them. No, I'm just saying the possibilities that are presented and put on the table, right? Just saying that out loud. They may not have known at all. They just knew that he was in a relationship, and obviously a hot and heavy and, and unbeknownst to them, very illegal relationship with this young Celeste. But I digress. Let's get into this next part. Oh, dear freaking God. Anyway, August 30th, 2024. So this one was in June, and this one was a few months later, late August. 2:08 a.m. Celeste, realistically, I care about you. I did this procedure for you. Okay? I did this for you. I got to obviously skate around this stuff, guys. All right? David, it has to be in the right time with the least complications. Then Celeste, I still wouldn't be there for it. I still would have been there for it. David, yeah, selfishly, because it would have also been mine. Celeste, David, I'm going to have to lie to people around me, even my kid, for the rest of my life. Celeste again, I don't like talking about it because it gets me really upset, but I'd do it again. Interesting, right? It has to be the right time with the least complications. I still would have been there for it. Yeah, selfishly, because it would have also been mine. David, I'm going to have to lie to people around me and even my kid for the rest of my life. I don't like talking about it because it gets me really upset, but I do it again. So she'd go through the process, the procedure again. Because she can't fathom the idea of having a child and maybe having to lie to everyone about this being somebody, about making this child with somebody who is not a minor. Ay, Chihuahua. Ay, Chihuahua. Ay, Chihuahua, indeed. That's sad. That's really sad, y'all. That's very, very sad. Let's go over to Go over to LA Magazine and see, because Lauren Conlon and Taylor Parise wrote this a few days ago. So let's take a look and talk about this too. Warning sign: there will be a lot of code words spread throughout this whole doggone thing. Okay. And again, I appreciate all y'all for being here. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of the conversation. This is nuck and futz. I'm gonna be real. It's not. This is probably one of the wildest cases we have ever covered on this channel and in true crime. I'm gonna be real. This is just one of the wildest cases we have ever covered. Not just because of, it's because of all this stuff. All the stuff that we're hearing here is just so insane. It's so shocking. And a lot of this was happening in plain sight. In plain freaking sight. So there's just a lot that we have to unearth and a lot to dissect and digest as well. Okay? And I'm sure there's going to be new texts. Yeah, Ranch and Toes. I guarantee you there's going to be new texts. Okay? For sure. Because if I'm correct, this particular detective is still on the stand. So they started the morning with more text messages, I'm assuming, and because there's years of dialogue and correspondence between these two. So, yeah, we're going to be hearing a lot of shocking information, okay? And here's the other thing, too. I am also wondering if Sheldon is going to be brought in and questioned today at all. And I'm also wondering if today's the last day, too. So we'll find out about that as well. But let's continue. Crazy. So let me get this. We already know about all this, but DNA evidence, Tesla and cell phone data, financial records, and forensic analysis proceedings are expected to resume with the medical examiner and then another LAPD detective, Farrell, which we've been listening to, or Farrell, sorry. Not Pharrell. That's funny. Something about you, beautiful. I just want you to know. Not Pharrell, but Farrell. Okay. Detective Farrell laid out the alleged relationship and the grooming of this teen. Okay, confirming she had this procedure done in January of 2024. Celeste would have been 13, and he would have been 18. So Patrick Steinfeld, who represents the family, the Rivas Hernandez family, was present, though members of the Rivas family were not present in the courtroom before the testimony resumed. Blair Burke, the defense attorney, sat beside D4VD at times placing an arm around him, blah, rubbing his back, goo, handing him a notebook and a styrofoam cup of water as the two quietly chatted. That little piece of shut your mouth. Moving on, D4VD, who appeared more conversational with his attorneys than on previous days, greeted judge with a brief morning, Your Honor, before proceedings got underway. This has to do with Friday, just so you know. All right. Moving on, some of the case's most graphic and technical testimony happened Friday morning, as Deputy Medical Examiner Dr. Ho described the extensive injuries to 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez and the challenges caused by the advanced decomposition of her remains. Ho testified that Celeste's body was so badly decomposed that the odor could be detected from the hallway outside the autopsy room. That is bad. Because of the condition of the remains, he said it was impossible to determine an exact time of demise. We're going to skip ahead a little bit because we already know about all of the autopsy. We went through all of that earlier. Okay, let's get into what Farrell said. Okay. Farrell also walked through dozens of photographs documenting what prosecutors alleged was D4VD's relationship with Celeste. The images included photographs of Burke holding what appeared to be a ring, Celeste with dyed red hair, the pair kissing in bed, and FaceTiming one another. Okay, prosecutors also introduced photographs showing a female hand with a red cursive tattoo reading David, wearing what appeared to be the same ring David, or D4VD, was pictured holding as well. Farrell further testified that D4VD's phone contained a lock screen image of the two embracing, whilst in their birthday suits. Though the image was not displayed in court, thank God. We don't need to see that. The detective testified that investigators also recovered spicy content, photos and videos from D4VD's phone that prosecutors alleged documented a very illegal relationship between the two. Farrell said the material appeared to have been recorded inside D4VD's bedroom and included birthday suit photos and images of the individuals engaged in acts that should not be engaged. They should not be engaged in. Have mercy. Quantum, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. Peoples, hit the like, please. Over 1K peeps. Yeah, hit the like, guys. Do not forget to hit the like. Please and thank you. Yikes. This is this is not good. This is no good, cabrón. No good. No good, cabrón. So, bad stuff. Close-up images of their special places. Okay? Yeah. So very spicy content that only adults should be making. All right? You get what I'm saying, okay? You're picking up what I'm putting down. All right. Prosecutors identified the material as CSAM, recovered from D4VD's phone. The images themselves were not shown to the courtroom, but Farrell described their contents after testifying they had been reviewed and filtered by LAPD Cybercrimes Division for discovery purposes. He testified Celeste was frequently identifiable in these images by her distinctive dyed red hair. During Farrell's testimony describing the explicit material, Celeste's parents quietly left the courtroom after becoming visibly overwhelmed, which I totally understand. Her mother sobbed as she exited the courtroom, prompting prosecutor Beth Silverman to tell the family, I'm sorry, as they walked out. I mean, what kind of like what you know what I mean? You're seeing this, yeah. If you were a parent, man, hold on, let me get this super chat, and I got things to say. Barbara, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. His mom was a teacher, his father a lawyer, and his brother a couple years older than Celeste. They know what a minor looks like. By the way, the singer listed the payments to Celeste as company expenses. Wasn't that mommy's duty? I'm mad. That's wild if you really think about it. The payments to Celeste as company expenses, yes, she's the one who's dealing with all the monies. Would he know to do that? Would he know to do that? She'd know that before him. So that's crazy if you really think about it. So in other words, mama knew. Mama really knew. Ooh, they're going to be brought in for they're going to be, when this trial goes in, they're about to go in. They're about to go in that ass. Do you understand? They're going to go in that ass. And I will say this too. They're going to go in on Celeste's parents' ass too. I'm sorry, but they are. They are. They're going to be asking all kinds of questions for them as well. Mama, D4VD, dookie face, doo-doo heads, mama knew. Mama dookie face knew. Mama dookie face knew. Period. Let's continue. Do you understand? If I was, man, Real Tanya, thank you so much. The Real Tanya, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really do appreciate it. But do you understand? If I were okay, let's be real. If I had no earthly clue what happened to my daughter, right, Celeste, and this happened, and I'm in this room, in this courtroom, and I'm finding out all this stuff, and I'm seeing all this stuff on the screen and everything, they would need an army of people to stop me from jumping over and putting my hands on that boy. Do you understand? Do you understand? He would not make it to trial. Do you understand? I mean, he would. I'm not sitting here saying that, but I'm just saying he would know my name. He would know my name. This is so disgusting, y'all. This is so disgusting. Man. That whole courtroom would have to stop me. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is so disturbing. If I was, man, and it's like my wifey, like, you know what I mean? All messed up and man. Oh my God. 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 It's insane. I can't believe this is even real. I can't even believe this is even freaking real. And they're showing the content. They're showing the content. They're showing the content. Do you understand? Oh my God. Oh my God. No, this would be this you know what I mean? I would be Samuel L. Jackson in A Time to Kill. Do you understand? Yes, they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell. You know what I'm saying? Whoo! Okay. I'm just saying. Dookie face doo-doo head would be no more. Oh my God. All right. Moving on, though, he testified. Pharrell also testified that investigators recovered text message conversations between D4VD and Celeste from his iCloud account. According to Farrell, the earliest recovered communication was dated August 8th of 2022, when she was just 11 years old. The final recovered message was dated April 23rd, 2025. So that's 3 years, roughly 3 years of conversation and correspondence with this very young girl. He testified the messages echoed the photographs and allegedly documented discussions about the pair's illegal relationship, plans to meet, travel to Lake Elsinore, and to his Hollywood Hills home. Their future together, pregnancy concerns, termination, and emergency contraception. According to Farrell, the pair referred to a plan called Operation Awesome. Oh, get ready for this. Operation Awesome. I feel like that's a title that Trump would use, you know? Like Operation Midnight Hammer. But Operation Awesome, or OA, in text messages, which prosecutors said referred to a plan for Celeste to run away from home and live with D4VD. Farrell also testified investigators confirmed D4VD had booked a trip for the two to the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas, which we had also learned from previous testimony. So they went to Las Vegas together as well. The detective also testified investigators recovered photographs of Plan B emergency contraception, from his iCloud account, which prosecutors linked to the text message conversations. Messages from late 2023 discussed concerns again, those type of concerns again, including Burke encouraging Celeste to track her cycle, and conversations in which she indicated she would not continue. She would not continue a pregnancy. Farrell testified investigators confirmed at least one termination took place in January of 2024. Farrell also testified that text messages identified a man named Sheldon, whom prosecutors described as a bodyguard hired by D4VD, as having driven D4VD and Celeste on multiple occasions. Farrell did not identify Sheldon by his first name, or by his last name, which Los Angeles LA Magazine previously reported as well. Throughout Farrell's testimony, Burke D4VD remained largely expressionless, occasionally shifting in his seat and resting his head in his hand. He continued staring forward as Celeste's mother left the room in tears, which we already heard about that, right? As the afternoon went on, graphic text messages were read between D4VD and Celeste, dating back to when she was only 13 years old. There were conversations about relations, pregnancies, and also a thread that indicated that D4VD's mother was aware of their illegal relationship. Again, content of the illegal kind were sent between the two, showing activity, if you get what I'm saying, when Celeste was just a reminder, 13 years old. And D4VD was 19. The two appeared to break up in March of 2024, when texts from Celeste say, "All we do is hang out and have relations. I want more than that, man." Yikes. Yeah, I know. Barbara, I'm the same way. I'm like, where is Sheldon? And is Sheldon going to be coming in and speaking out? That's what I'd like to know, because this is bad. And you would think that Sheldon, excuse me, you'd think that the likes of Sheldon would know something, right? there's so much. Oh my God. Yeah, guys, it's a lot. It's a lot to consume. Remember, and I feel like how they started the preliminary hearings last week is exactly how this whole trial is going to be like too. Like, it's just going to be a lot to take in. It's just going to be a lot of like information that we're just going to have to, you know what I mean, process in our minds. That it's just going to be really over the top, all up in our face. And we're just going to have to just kind of go through it. Still can't believe that this happened to this young girl. Still can't believe that this. Like I said, I'm still just trying to wrap my mind around this. And I think a lot of y'all are too, right? But let me see if Mark the Shark has come out yet. I know people are out there, like, y'all are watching too, and just let me know if he's, you know, if anybody's come out, blah blah blah. I don't see him at all coming out. But Trap Lore Ross did do a video that I wanted to share with y'all and watch with y'all about, you know, with this too, because like I said, this is just insane. And before we go into like the conversations of what else is going on, I kind of wanted to share this with y'all too, because I did this as a short and I talked about this. But I do want to, I've been wanting to hear other people's opinions about this. And I honestly, a part of me thinks different than what a lot of people are saying out here in these streets. First and foremost, D4VD out of nowhere had a new song come out on his iTunes account. Just so you know, he had a whole new song. And the title of that song was called I Did It. I Did It. Wow. The defense and prosecution have now rested. That's good to know. Now, here's the thing. Of course, I want to make sure. How do you know that, Jane? That's what I'd like to know. How do you bloody know? How do you know, love? How do you have that info? Unless Mark the Shark came out already. I don't see anything about that yet, but I don't see him do that. But here's the thing, okay? I just want to make this abundantly clear. You got a guy, okay? You got a guy who's locked up right now and now has a new song that just came out. And in fact, I'm going to check here one time. I want to check. Is this song still up or has it been taken down? It has officially been taken down. It has been taken down. I'm literally looking at David's iTunes account right now as we speak, and it has been taken down. But it was crazy. If you go and look at my short, you can see, like, it's a photo of the doggone. It's a photo of the doggone Tesla. That's the icon for the song, and then the title is called I Did It. Now, again, to me, it sounds like Derek Burr is saying that the family, Mark is saying that the family knew. That's wild. That's wild. I mean, and that's kind of what we're hearing here in these text messages. It sounds like to me, well, wait. Which family? You talking about D4VD's family or Celeste family knew? That's what I'd like to know, Derek. Okay. Thank you so much for the comment, though. But here's the thing, though. All right. You're looking at this and you're hearing about this song leaking on his account. Everybody and their mama's losing their mind about it because they're like, whoa, wait a second. Why would he have a freaking song out right now. And the song's called I Did It. And the song are lyrics that were like, Celeste, your tattoo's name to my is your name is tattooed to my chest. The things that we heard in the very beginning, okay? In the very, very beginning of this case, when this case first started to unravel, we heard about these lyrics. And then now the song is out, right? People are saying he got hacked. People are saying that he got hacked. A part of me doesn't agree. A part of me feels like part of me feels like he knew. A part of me feels like he posted this. That's what I truly think. That's what I truly, truly think. But I could be wrong. All right? Actually, before we go into that song stuff, okay, I just feel like it could have, I don't know. This is some cryptic, messed up stuff, and I even said it before. I feel like this guy is like trying to create, I think he's trying to make murder art. Yeah, guys, I think he's trying to make murder art. That's what I think. Like, there's a lore. Like, you need a table of contents. You need a glossary to understand everything within this trial. Like, he's trying to make this art. Just my theory. But let's take a look at this real quick. Thank you so much for the heads up, guys. Before we go into Trap Laura Ross's video about the leaking of this new video, this new song coming out and everything, we do have some updates. Okay, so they're on a morning break apparently, according to Lauren Conlon, but there may be more here in this right here. So the D4VD preliminary hearing day 5th. Okay, morning break. Let's take a look. Here's the recap. According to Taylor Parise, and shout out to Taylor for her fantastic work as well. All right. Now, the LAPD detective Farrell walked the court through text messages. So there's more text messages that came out. Text messages exchanged between D4VD and Celeste Rivas in the days leading up to her demise. According to Farrell, investigators recovered 8,000 to 9,000 text messages between the pair through his iCloud account. The prosecutor is focusing on the conversations that occurred from April 22nd to April 26th of 2025. Very important. Real quick. Ellery, thank you so much before they disappear. Do you think he will change his plea before actually going to trial? Maybe. He might wait and see if he can get a deal. Maybe he gets a plea deal or something like that. I'm sure prosecution will put that on the table, but he might be crazy enough to be like, no, I still didn't do this. We'll see. But thank you so much for the super chat. Maria, thank you as well. There was a video of D4VD cleaning some shoes covered in I'm thinking you're saying in beetle juice. I haven't seen anyone talk about it. There is a video of him cleaning up some Hello Kitty shoes, if I'm correct, that everybody has talked about, to be honest, Maria. But yeah, that is a thing. People have talked about that for sure. But thank you so much for your support. Okay. And a lot of people are assuming that while he was on this live, like it was like a Instagram or TikTok live, that he was actually doing that. Okay. He was doing that, cleaning up evidence in front of everybody. It's just insane. Like I said, I think he tried to make this art. Like this was going to be his next album. All of this was going to be a part of another album. His album was Withered. This one would have been something else. Even more cryptic, even more demented, even more dark. You see what I'm saying? He wanted to turn this whole thing into art and have a lore and have people studying him in a way. It's almost like he wanted to be famous. Like, like serial killers out there. They want to be known for what they've done, right? Their art, their work, etc. They want to go down in history as being the most diabolical, right? I feel like that's the same thing with this guy. Except he would have songs about it too. Wrote a song about it. Like to hear, here you go. Crazy. So these conversations that they were focusing on this particular morning testimony were from April 22nd to April 26th of 2025. One exchange centered on D4VD's relationship with Asia Collins. Whoa. Which appeared to create an argument. Oh, interesting. I wonder why. Asia, let's not forget who Asia is. She just spoke out about everything. About his, and said, I didn't know it was like that. I heard rumors. I confronted him, and then I found out that, he showed me a fake ID, and I believed him, so I moved on. Okay, so now you got Asia Collins in the chat because Celeste might have been a little bit jealous. Hey, Asia's not a bad-looking girl. I can see that, and it's his type. She light-skinned with dark features and stuff. You feels me? Just saying. Oh, and here's the other thing. She's of age. That's the most important part. He wouldn't be breaking the law in a relationship with Asia now, would he? Yeah. Moving on, though. Text messages exchanged were about his friendship, with Asia Collins, which appeared to create an argument. Celeste texted, bro, I said I didn't want to be friends with you if you wanted to be friends with her. Oh, snap. That's not cool. So she didn't feel so good about that. Now, did she? After D4VD explained Collins had been at his home to pick up Coachella guest wristbands, Celeste responded with a series of increasingly angry messages, including, oh my effing God, I swear to God, I will unalive you. I will strangle you to effing death, bro. Whoa. She continued also saying, I will tell my dad so many effing lies about you. I will end your career and your life. Yikes. What lies? Because it seems like if she was like, I'm in a relationship with the guy and he's doing all these bad things and all that stuff, I feel like that would be true. So that wouldn't be a lie, though. That sounds like the mother effing truth, though. But moving on, prosecutors then shifted to April 23rd, 2025, when Farrell testified D4VD arranged the Uber to go pick up Celeste from her family's street in Lake Elsinore. The messages included, from D4VD, are you coming at 9? Celeste, get it to 33070. I'm assuming, okay. Get me send it over here. So he says, getting it. Farrell testified the address corresponded to the street where Celeste lived, so it pulled up outside her home. Later that night, prosecutors showed what they characterized as the final communications between the two. At 10:10 p.m., Burke, D4VD, texted, gate open, door unlocked. Ah, I said it weird. Gate open, door unlocked. There it is. Minutes later, Uber said, you are here. Where you at? Then, hello, bro, Celeste. Farrell testified there were no additional messages from Celeste after that point. Burke continued sending messages. Bro, blocking me? Hello? I'm going to call Jen, bro. You're scaring me. Then later, what the F? Where are you? Please. Yeah, this is all acting right now. This is him acting. Right here. Right here. 10:10, he texted, gate open, door unlocked. She walked in and he whoop and attacked her. Minutes later, that's when he pulls out the bull schnish and says, Uber said you're here. Where you at? Hello? Bro? Celeste? Bro, you're blocking me? Hello? I'm going to call Jen. Bro, you're scaring me. What the F, bro? Where are you? Please. All that fake. All of that is fake. She's already bleeding out. She's already passing away as he's sending these text messages. Or if not, she's already gone. And I'd like to know who Jen is too. Who the F is Jen, bro? I'm going to call Jen, bro. You're scaring me. Who Jen, though? Who be Jen? Moving on. Farrell testified investigators reviewed Uber records showing the Uber arrived at 10:10 p.m. Silverman then presented Tesla and cellular evidence they say showed Burke's Tesla, D4VD's Tesla, and phone left his Hollywood Hills residence at around 11:30 p.m. So a whole hour and 20 minutes after she allegedly walked into D4VD's crib, that's when he got into the car and drove off, with navigation data later reflecting destinations including Lake Kachuma, hopefully I'm saying that right, and a Tesla supercharger in Santa Ynez. Cross-examination. Here comes Burke, okay? The other Burke. Defense. Here we go. During cross-examination, defense attorney Blair Burke focused on the beginning of their relationship. She questioned Farrell about messages from August 2022, suggesting Celeste presented herself as 16 years old and Burke was 18 during their earliest online conversations. Okay, sure. In the very beginning, she could have lied. She could have lied. All right, she could have. But that still doesn't change anything. He still kept going back to her, even after the fact. Blair Burke introduced a 90-page exhibit containing text messages exchanged between D4VD and Celeste between April 22nd and 22nd and April 23rd of 2025. Blair Burke told the court the defense prepared the exhibit using raw iCloud message data, arguing it had not previously had the benefit of a Celebrite extraction. So prosecution immediately argued that, stating for the record that the defense had been provided the complete raw data and could analyze it however it wished. The exhibit was admitted as Exhibit Q. Could not clearly see the messages on the courtroom monitors during this portion of testimony, so following is based on what was read aloud in court. So, defense, Burke, then revisited messages prosecutors introduced during direct examination. She had Detective Farrell confirm that Celeste text Burke, "Oh my effing God, I swear to God, I will unalive you." I'm going to use the code words. "I will strangle you to effing death, bro. I will tell my dad so many effing lies about you. I will end your career and your life." See now, okay, so then Farrell responded, yes, as the exchange was read aloud. D4VD looked down. Defense then directed Farrell to messages she said immediately preceded that exchange, asking him to confirm that Celeste had also texted, "I will straight up mutilate your weed whacker." Farrell answered correct. So defense next highlighted Burke's response, which Farrell also confirmed. "You have turned it into a bigger thing than this conversation right now. That's how it goes with you. The only way ish makes sense is when I don't tell you until after the fact. You don't listen to me." According to defense Burke, after the messages threatening to lie to her father ruined D4VD's career and unalive him, Celeste sent another message about a minute later stating, "Nuh-uh, I don't even play like that. I'll be knocking on the door, crying on some crazy ish. You guys been dating." Oh! Whoa! 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 Burke also asked Farrell whether more than 1,200 text messages were exchanged between D4VD and Celeste during the April 22nd, 23rd timeframe. Farrell testified he did not know the exact number, but said it would not surprise him. So defense then moved to another series of messages dated April 23rd, 2025, reading additional portions aloud. According to that exhibit, Burke text, "Why do you think? Why do you think? You just proved my exact point." This is what David D4VD said. "Why do you think? You just proved my exact point." So then she responded, "You have one more chance, bro, to tell me the truth." She followed with, "Bro, tell me the truth, David. And bro, I won't say anything. Tell me the truth, David." Burke also highlighted another exchange in which Burke wrote, D4VD wrote, "How am I going to say, how you going to say you feel distance when you've been pushing me away since the beginning of the year?" Celeste replied, "If I see you with Asia one more time, I will make anonymous accounts. You won't be able to avoid me leaking all that ish I got on you or I got about you." Wow. Burke then moved to another portion of the exhibit, directing David Farrell to page 83, where she read additional messages aloud. According to Burke, defense, Celeste texted, next minute also, and I'll have all the old numbers from my old phone printed so I can find your mom's number to text her anytime. So don't test me." Wow. Burke responded simply, D4VD responded simply, "Okay," following a laughing emoji. What is going on here? Celeste then allegedly wrote, "I also have Nathan's fiance on my phone as well. So word was spread to your work girl." Defense then shifted to what appeared to be a theme of the cross. She asked Farrell whether throughout the messages in which Celeste threatened Burke, she ever said she intended to report him to police or participate in a criminal prosecution. Farrell responded or testified she didn't use those words, though he added the messages did reference making information public. Defense confirmed with Farrell that the messages included threats involving telling D4VD's mother, so yes. Taking the life of D4VD, yes. Leaking information, yes. She then asked whether Farrell ever saw Celeste write that she intended to go to law enforcement. Farrell answered no. The defense next highlighted another April 23rd exchange. Burke texts at that time, "I know you ended the friendship like 10 times. D4VD, who had stared at the courtroom monitors through direct examination, was now looking down as messages were being read. Seconds later, according to the defense, D4VD changed the subject, asking, "When you come, are you going to want food? Because I'm going to be starving." Celeste replied, Sure. What kind? He responded by saying, I'm feeling in and out. Defense then focused on the what investigators learned about D4VD and Celeste Rivas' relationship prior to April 2025. Farrell testified. Investigators determined Celeste's family knew about the relationship before April 2025. Let me say that again. Farrell testified. Investigators determined Celeste's family knew about the relationship before April 2025. Just saying that one more time. He also agreed. Investigators learned that before she was reported missing in 2024, Celeste's parents permitted her to live in Los Angeles with her aunt, where D4VD also lived. Oh my God. Oh my God. Whoa, there's so much to dissect here, y'all. Hamburger. Farrell further testified investigators learned that Celeste's aunt and cousins were aware of the relationship and that text messages indicated D4VD attended church with Celeste's family. What? What? He also agreed D4VD had picked Celeste up to go to the mall. So then defense asked whether investigators determined, oh my dear Lord, there's so much to look back at. Sorry. So defense asked whether investigators determined Celeste's aunt's adult sister, knew about the relationship and went with them to Las Vegas. Farrell clarified that the sister traveled separately and stayed at a different hotel, but confirmed investigators were aware of those circumstances. Wow! I don't know if I can do this anymore, y'all. I don't know if I can read any more of this, fam. Oh my God. Yo, this is insane. This was a family affair, son. This was a mother-loving family affair. Everybody mother-loving knew. I got cases on every mother-loving in this house, man. Whoa. Oh my God. Okay, we got to continue. Oh my dear Lord. This girl it was a losing battle for this little girl. Oh my God. Okay, so defense then brought up who knew of Burke, D4VD, and Celeste Rivas' relationship before this homicide investigation began. She first asked whether investigators determined Celeste's school friends knew about the relationship prior to the initial missing persons report in February of 2024. Farrell answered yes. Oh my God! He also confirmed that D4VD's mama was aware of the mother-loving relationship. Celeste's family entered the courtroom during this portion of the testimony. Oh, perfect timing. Perfect mother-loving timing. Oh, this is great reporting. Good job, you guys. Good jobs. Okay, so Celeste's family walked in this mother-loving room. Get in here, y'all. Get in here, y'all. Get in here. Get your ass in here. The school knew. The kids in the school knew. The parents knew. His parents knew. Her mama and his parents, they all knew. They all mother-loving knew, y'all. So the defense next introduced a 4-page notarized child travel consent form dated, this is the question that we've all been waiting for, a notarized child travel consent form dated September 23rd, 2024. The defense asked whether investigators confirmed Celeste's parents signed the document authorizing D4VD to take her to London, and Farrell responded, mother-loving correct. Defense asked whether producer Gray Toomey had socialized with D4VD and Celeste together. Farrell testified, "I do not know this." Defense continued by questioning Detective Farrell about additional aspects of the investigation that she argued demonstrated Burke and Celeste D4VD's and Celeste's relationship was not hidden. She asked whether investigators confirmed Celeste attended one of his performances at the Fonda Theater with members of D4VD's family. Farrell, I keep on saying Farrell, but Farrell, he responded correct. Burke told the court investigators, not Burke, the defense told the court investigators, or had told the court investigators had learned through the April 22nd to 23rd text messages that Celeste had previously committed DV against D4VD, but Silverman immediately objected, arguing the line of questioning was irrelevant. So the defense responded that it went directly to issues of intent, malice, and the special circumstance allegation, arguing it was relevant to whether the prosecution could establish planning. So the judge disagreed. She reminded counsel that the proceeding was a preliminary hearing, not a trial, and was limited to determining probable cause. The judge ruled the proposed testimony was not relevant because Celeste is not the person charged in this case. It's mother-loving D4VD. Dookie face doo-doo head D4VD. Oh my God, we got cases on everybody right now, son. Everybody. Judge Olmedo added that if the defense intended to pursue a theory such as self-defense at trial, it would need to be present evidence supporting that defense at the appropriate time. So defense next attempted to question Farrell about text messages in which, according to the defense, Celeste frequently referenced BPD. Before Farrell could even elaborate, Silverman again objected on relevance grounds. The judge sustained that objection, ruling the line of questioning was not relevant to the issues before the court at the preliminary hearing. Still unsure of what BPD actually mother-loving means. I don't know what it means either. Defense then told the court that Celeste referred on multiple occasions about wanting to do the unthinkable, ideations, for lack of a better term, and then asked the detective whether he recalled seeing those messages during the investigation. He responded, "I did see that, yes. I don't know about multiple occasions, though." So the defense then returned to the prosecution's earlier testimony regarding the Uber ride to D4VD's home on April 23rd, 2025. She suggested that when looking at the context of the text conversations, it was Celeste who initiated discussions about seeing D4VD and insisted on coming to his house. That is very interesting as well. Very interesting. Okay, so the detective testified. He remembered Celeste asking to see Burke, but said he did not recall the specific number of times. So the defense asserted that Celeste had asked to see D4VD at least 7 times during those exchanges. So the detective replied that he could not remember the exact number. Reading from the defense exhibit Q, Burke highlighted one exchange from 6:08 p.m. on April 22nd, in which Celeste texted, "I am able to see you on Thursday at all. Am I able to see you on Thursday at all?" Burke responded, "No." D4VD. So then his defense team then referenced to another message that was sent, about 20 minutes later, in which she wrote, I can't be effing friends with you anymore. Find the quickest date for me to see you." Interesting. So she wants to be out. She wants out of the relationship. But she does sound aggressive in the text messages, but she's the one who's dead, not D4VD, just so you know. All right? The defense appeared to use these exchanges to argue that communications reflected Celeste repeatedly initiating contact and seeking to spend time with Burke, possibly with D4VD, possibly insinuating he did not lure her. Okay, fair enough. She's still dead, though. She's still dead, though. And who's on trial? Moving on. Celeste then texts, bro, there's no possible way I cannot see you at all this week? Like, I can't even see you at midnight? D4VD replied, I think it's love because you're the only one to ever show me that. But it's never happiness. Is this a lyric from one of his songs or some crap? Anyway, Celeste responded, explain why I can't see you before Singapore. D4VD answered, because my parents are here and I want to have an in-person conversation. Why do I have to see you before Singapore? The exchange continued, with Celeste writing, proof your parents are being there. Proof of your parents being there. I don't trust you. Flights or something. I don't trust you. D4VD responded, I'm busy tomorrow. He later added, I see a need to talk in person. I'm sorry. Why do we have to see each other before I'm back? According to the defense, Celeste continued asking to meet, sending messages including, let me see you Wednesday night, and I can see you tomorrow. I can dead go to Riverside too. The defense then moved to another exchange from 10:25 p.m. on April 22nd, in which Celeste texts, well, we need to talk in person, please, man. D4VD replied, no. Defense also pointed to another message from April 23rd at 10:09, arguing Celeste again pressed D4VD to see her, continuing what the defense characterized as repeated requests by Celeste to meet him in the days leading up to April 23rd. Before the line of questioning continued, prosecution objected. It's overruled. Burke finally agrees to see Celeste per the text because she keeps on hitting him up. Say, hey, I want to see you. I want to see you. I want to see you before you go to Singapore. I need to see you. We need to have this conversation, right? He's saying no, over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, right? He finally caves in. The defense went back to the Uber trip that prosecutors emphasized during direct examination. The defense pointed out that, according to the text messages, it was Celeste who suggested D4VD order the Uber at 8:30 p.m. Detective Farrell agreed that the messages originated from Celeste, but she's still dead, though. Okay? Chopped up in the front trunk of his Tesla. She's gone. It still doesn't justify a damn thing. It doesn't justify a damn thing. All right. Defense also noted that at 10:02 p.m., Celeste sent Burke another message stating she was almost there and asking him to open the door if he was home. The detective again agreed that those messages were sent by Celeste. Defense then questioned whether investigators could actually determine that D4VD himself was home when those text messages were sent. Farrell testified that D4VD's cell phone consistently appeared to be at the residence based on the available location data. Defense then went back to reconstruct D4VD's activities before Celeste arrived at his home on April 23rd, 2025. She asked the detective whether investigators attempted to determine what Burke was doing during the hour before the Uber dropped Celeste off. Farrell initially said he did not understand the question, so they rephrased, asking whether, as part of the investigation, detectives sought to determine D4VD's activities in the hours leading up to the drop-off. So the detective responded that he did not specifically remember investigating that. So defense then asked whether they learned D4VD had been playing a virtual video game with two other people. After a brief pause, the detective responded, "Oh yeah, he was." Interesting. So D4VD, or defense, continued, confirming that D4VD had been using a VR headset, playing a game, and browsing movies while interacting with two other individuals. She then suggested that those activities occurred during the time that Celeste was traveling to his home in the Uber. So Farrell agreed with that timeline that was presented, and then they revisited the prosecution timeline. The defense confirmed with Farrell, the detective, that investigators determined the Uber dropped Celeste off at approximately 10:10 p.m. on April 23rd. He says correct. That is correct. She then confirmed that D4VD texted Celeste asking where she was at approximately 10:31 p.m. Again, Farrell responded, correct. The defense then summarized the prosecution's timeline, asking whether the investigators concluded Celeste passed away between the time 10 p.m. and 10:31 p.m. The detective agreed that the investigative timeline placed the relevant events within the approximately 20-minute window. This is all of it. Hamburger. So here's the thing. At the end of the day, this man is absolutely roasted, okay? He is flame broiled. He is beyond cooked, okay? He's charcoal now, all right? He foobar. He's done. Here's the thing. The defense, I don't know what the defense is trying to do. In fact, let me just check to make sure there isn't anything more, because we kind of need to do some dissection to this, because that was nuck and futz. That was nuck and futz. Yeah, nuck and futz. Don't worry, we are going to do a quick recap on what we just heard. But I kind of need to process some of this too, because this is just shocking. And I'm trying to see if there's any. I'm trying to see if like Mark the Shark came out. He may not have come out at all. Wow. That was a lot. Shout out to Lauren Conlon and Taylor Parise for this incredible breakdown. This is shocking. Okay, so I just need to say this. All of them, all families, this was a family affair. This was a family affair. They did this kid wrong. Missy Yet, you got to be stop. You got to stop. You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. Okay, I'm going to have to talk about that in another time. But Koberger, stop. But here's the thing. On some real stuff. They did this kid wrong, man. There's so much to break down in this. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. We're going to break it down. Just let me get this. It's a lot to process. It's a lot. It's a lot. Okay, Imperial, thank you so much for the love. There's no child fast enough. There is no child fast enough to catch a man who is not a predator. Yeah, Like, I seriously can't believe what we just read. Everybody knew. And that's the other thing, too. We hear about, like, for example, London. Parents signed the document authorizing Burke authorizing D4VD to take her to London. And I mean, just right there, like just looking at that right there. And the fact that the detective said that is correct, is very, very disturbing. Here's another part that it makes you realize that the parents knew, okay? Her parents knew. You want to know how her parents knew? I'm sorry. I'm processing it all. Okay. I'm really sorry, guys. I'm processing it all in real time with you guys. You know, we're reading it. I'm reacting big and being, and it's all dramatic reactions, but those were real reactions. It's like, what the hell? Like, what in the hell? What in the hell? What in the hell? What in the hell? They did this girl dirty, man. They did this girl dirty. So we should be looking at the parents' side eye. All of them. All of them. Sean, thank you so much for the love. Just think of how many other parents are like this. Exactly. I don't even want to, I mean, we do need to have that realization that there are possibly other families and parents like this out there, but it's just still a shocking thing, right? But I just want to point out this one more time. This is not the whole thing, okay? There's a lot that's been said in here, and we're going to comb through and go through those things again. But I just want to point one thing out. We talked about London. We talked about that trip to London. Tea and crumpets. And all that mucky muck. And now we're hearing this. And this should be a theme. Right here. Parents signed the document authorizing D4VD to take her to London. Here's another piece, too. If I can find it quickly. Here's another piece, too. If I can find it quickly. If not, I'll just say it. But right here. This was a dead giveaway for me, too. This line right here. I will tell my dad so many effing lies about you. So that would automatically indicate that the family, or at least the daddy, knows about D4VD. That he been known about D4VD. Why would she have to make lies about D4VD? You see what I'm saying? Why would the parents have to be lied to about if what they're already engaging in is bad enough? So that means the parents knew that there was a relationship going on, that they knew that there was something illegal going on between these two. Because you know for a fact, all she would have to do is go to daddy and go, yeah, that man right there is doing all these bad things with me, Dad. That's not a lie. You understand that? Why would she have to go and say a whole bunch of effing lies to her dad? When what they're doing right now would make me want to rip David's freaking face off if I were her dad. You're doing what with him? There's no need to lie. Just tell me exactly the truth. Because what they were doing and the content and all that stuff that they were doing was illegal. And that would make any father lose their freaking marbles. Like I said, the dude would be at his front door with a baseball bat, ready to go. Do you understand? I mean, any other father would. I would assume. Any other caring father would. Right? So why would she have to say, I'm going to tell my daddy so many lies about you, and then I'm going to end your career in your life? So that means, at least to me, Mommy and daddy knew everything on her side. Mommy and daddy knew everything over on D4VD's side as well. They did this kid dirty. Man, that's a lot to take in, y'all. That is a lot to consume. That is a lot to consume. Okay, let's break this down. 90-page exhibit containing text messages. And this is what's been, and it's crazy that during the cross, that's when we got all the meat and potatoes. But the thing is that they're sitting there. The only thing that I think they're trying to do is say, see, this wasn't premeditated. That this may have been, if he was the one to take her life, this was not a premeditated attack. And then, of course, also, they're trying to pull out self-mother-loving defense, y'all. Which, that ain't gonna work. That's really not gonna work. That ain't gonna work for me, dog. I don't know if it's gonna work for you, but that's pretty much what the angle that they're trying to go with. They're trying to basically say, oh, she said she's gonna rip his weed whacker off. Oh, she about to take his life because he was hollering, possibly hollering at another girl. And we already know the other girl's name. Her name is Asia. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and if you got a problem with me calling him D4VD, go find another show to watch that will sit there and go, David Anthony Burke. His name is D4VD for me. In fact, his name is Dookie Face Doodoo Head D4VD. Okay, you got a problem with that? Go somewhere else, man. That's all I can say. This kid's a monster. Whether this was a situation where he said, I'm planning this out and she's going to go up here and I'm going to take her life and it's all planned, or if it was a spur of the moment type of situation, it does not matter. It doesn't, because that girl's still dead. That girl's still no longer here, and her body was still found chopped up in his mother-loving car. Let's not forget that. So if they're sitting there going, oh, it was self-defense. She was like a feral animal. He didn't know what to do with himself. It was all protection. And then she's still chopped up in a car, rotting away for several months while he's out there. Yeah, I don't care. Like, what? Stop. I get it. If she was mad, she was mad. But at the same time, she was talking mess. She was talking smack. She was angry. And then even afterwards, she's sitting there going like, can I please talk to you? Can I please see you? Can you please hit me back? Can you please hit me back so we could talk? We need to talk. You see what I'm saying? And she for damn sure didn't turn this knife on herself. And she for damn sure didn't fall into his front trunk of his Tesla. And the whole thing was just lined up with chainsaws. So as she fell in, after she stuck herself, she fell in, got chopped up into pieces, and just randomly, so conveniently, fell into a body bag that zipped up by itself and a whole other bag down on the floor. Like, stop. He did this. He probably took what she said seriously. She said, I'm going to make your life a living hell. I am going to destroy you. I'm going to lie to my mom. I got phone numbers. I'm going to start texting your fam. I'm going to start texting your mama. I'm going to be texting all your people. And all this information will eventually get to Asia. And Asia will finally find out what kind of nasty little monster you are too. Hell's wrong with you dating Asia right in front of my face? You dating who? You see what I'm saying? Crazy, man. Crazy. Let me get this. I got another super chat too, so I'm going to get these two really quick before they disappear. All right. And thank you so much for the super chats. I really do appreciate it. Okay. It says, thank you, Black Lake. It's premeditated. He bought the tools in advance. Also, people have been selling their kids to celebs in hopes they can get notary and bag. maybe notoriety, maybe, and a bag. Sick. You ain't wrong with that. That is very true. That's really happening. We all know about Epstein. We all know about Epstein. Okay. Barbara, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. Families, schools, friends, and coworkers failed her. Yes, everyone. It was a neighborhood affair. It was, when they say it takes a neighborhood or it takes a village, it was the whole damn village that failed her. Whole damn village. Okay. No one saved her. Exactly. There is no such thing as a perfect victim. Whatever her temperament was, it doesn't justify her being dead. She was a teenager and she was hurt. Exactly. I couldn't agree more. This is a diabolical situation. I've never seen anything like this in my life. That's why I'm reacting so big about this, because I'm like, how could this happen where everybody knew that this relationship was happening and how they were okay with this? That's the part that it's blowing my mind. It's absolutely blowing my mind. How could you do this? How could you allow this to happen with this little kid? And I asked the same thing to the parents. How could you allow this to happen? And the only other thing I can think of is they're sitting there going, well, she keeps running away and there's no other choice we have. We have no other choice. We have no other choice. So we might as well just be cool with it. Here's the other part that I found very interesting as well. She went out to L.A. to live with family. Wasn't she still reported missing at that same time? She was living with extended family in L.A. Wasn't she still reported missing during that time as well? Why would they do that? If they knew where she was, and if she was allegedly living in L.A. with her auntie, why would they still report her missing during that time? Remember the same thing, too. She came back home to visit and enjoy a party, like a birthday party of some sort, back at the house. That's why you saw the Ring camera footage where she's tripping on neighbors and the neighbors' kids ding-dong ditching on her house. And that was during the time that she was reported missing. So if she was reported missing and she over there chilling in L.A., allegedly living with her auntie and extended family, why would she still be reported missing then? Quantum, thank you so much. I remember a black Tesla came to her. Oh, remember that a black Tesla came to her house. Yes, indeed. That was his car. So they already had a relationship. This relationship was already happening. And the family knew. Let's get back to this. Let's get back over here. Let's break this down really quick. Let's break it down. All right. Let's get to the meat and potatoes. All right. So she revisited the messages prosecution introduced during direct examination. She had the detective confirm that she did text this. Oh my effing God, I swear to God, I will kill you. I will strangle you to effing death, bro. I will tell my daddy so many effing lies about you. I will end your career and your life. This is what she said in a text message because she was angry and jealous and full of rage. Okay, because this dude straight up it sounds like he was hollering at Asia. So he's responded. The detective said yes. Okay, so moving on. I will straight up mutilate your scrotch. Okay, he responded. Yes, correct. That is what she texted. Moving on. Burke's D4VD's response was, you have turned it into a bigger thing than this conversation right now. That's how it goes with you. The only way ish makes sense is when I don't tell you until after the fact. You don't listen to me. So was there a misunderstanding? Was there a straight up misunderstanding? Like he's like, yo, this is my friend. She's just my friend. She's straight up just my friend. Chill the F out. You're not, see, this is the reason why I don't tell you things until after I get these certain things done. Because as soon as I tell you what's going down, you start tripping. According to the defense, after the messages threatening to lie to her father, ruin his career, and take his life, she sent another message about another minute later. Nuh-uh, I don't even play like that. I'll be knocking on your door crying. I'll be knocking the door crying on some crazy ish. You guys been dating. So she was like, I'm about to expose you for the nasty PDF file you are. I'll be knocking on the door. I will lie. I will make up some crazy stuff. I'll say I'm with child right now. I'll say all kinds of crazy stuff. And I'll expose you for who you are. Because he wants to go, he wants to see what Asia's all about. Man, this is wild. I wonder how Asia's taking this info. For a fact, she's finding out this stuff now. If not, that's wild. Defense also asked Farrell, God, whether more than the 1,200 messages were exchanged between them two. He says, I didn't take count, but I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, moved on to another series of text messages. D4VD text. Why do you think? You just proved my exact point. Okay, she responded. You have one more chance to tell me the truth, man. Like, you have one more chance, bro, to tell me the truth. She followed with, bro, tell me the truth, David. And bro, I won't say anything. Tell me the truth, David. She just wants to know whether or not he's bumping uglies with Asia or not. So then defense also highlighted another exchange where Burke, D4VD, responded. He said, how you gonna say you feel distance when you've been pushing me away since the beginning of the year? So in other words, he's like, yo, you ain't talking to me. You've been real weird and distant with me. So yeah, I'm out here. I'm talking. What? And you don't want to talk to me, and now suddenly you want to talk to me now? The hell? So she responded, if I see you with Asia one more time, I will make anonymous accounts. See, here it is. I will destroy. I was like, I will make your life a living hell. I will make anonymous accounts. You won't be able to avoid me leaking all that ish I got about you. Remember, a phone filled with all kinds of disgusting, disturbing, illegal content that she has in her possession. Don't forget that too. Black Lake, thank you so much for becoming a member. Welcome back. I think you're re-upping, but thank you. And please, guys, please consider becoming a member by hitting that join button down below, please and thank you. And of course, do not forget to hit that subscribe button, please and thank you. Please and thank you, okay? Subscribe. Can we get it to like 1K? Can we get the likes to 1K? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? We out here, okay? And a lot of y'all in here. So please hit that like button down below. Let's continue, all right? So if I see you with her one more time, I'm going to make anonymous accounts. You won't be able to avoid me leaking all that ish I got about you. So she's like, I got stuff on you, baby. You dating? No, you ain't. No, you're mine. Not good. Not a good look. This is not good. Okay? This is not good. At the end of the day, this is not good. On her part, this looks bad. She's getting mad. Okay? So the detective to page 83, where she read the additional messages aloud. According to the defense, Celeste text next time also. And I have all the old numbers from my old phone printed so I can find your mom's number and text her anytime. So don't test me. So then he responded simply, okay, with a laughing emoji. You just don't do that when you got a woman, a girl or a woman mad. You just don't do that. But he said, okay, like try me, right? Celeste then allegedly wrote, I also have Nathan's fiance on my phone as well. So word will spread to your work girl. So I'm assuming work girl is Asia. That information will go back to her. So while you're sitting here trying to be in, trying to start a little cutesy, relationship with this new girl, Oh, I'm about to find this stuff about to get to her real quick. Okay? Defense then shifted to what appeared to be a theme of the cross. She asked Farrell whether throughout the messages in which, she threatened Burke, D4VD, she ever said she intended to report to the police or participate in a criminal prosecution. He said, I didn't see any of those words. Okay? Well, so in other words, she said, hey, I'm going to tell on your mama. I will take your life if you are dating Asia. I will leak all this information and make your life a living hell. The defense then asked whether the detective ever saw Celeste write that she intended to go to law enforcement. He said no. The defense next highlighted another exchange on the 23rd of April, so the day that she died. All right? She allegedly died. So I know you ended the relationship like, this is what he wrote, by the way. I know you ended the relationship like 10 times. So maybe she sent a text message being like, we are so done the next day. I just want you to know it's over. You know what I mean? And he's like, I know. You ended the friendship like 10 mother-loving times. I get it. Let's move on, right? D4VD had stared. Okay, we already know about what he was doing. He was just sitting there like just being the nasty little dookie face doo-doo head he is. Seconds later, according to the defense, he changed the subject, asking, when you come, are you going to want food because I'm going to be starving? So she says, sure. Celeste responds, sure, what kind? He said, I'm feeling in and out. So then they focused on the investigation or what investigators learned about D4VD and Celeste's relationship prior to April of 2025, so before her passing. So they testified investigators, the detective testified investigators determined that Celeste Rivas' family knew about the relationship before April of 2025. He also agreed investigators learned that before she was reported missing in 2024, her parents permitted her to live in Los Angeles with her aunt, where Burke also lived. So all right here is a big freaking problem. Yeah, it's crazy that he said friendship too, because it wasn't a friendship, clearly. The content on his and her phone would tell us otherwise. They knew each other biblically. But here's the thing. Investigators determined Celeste's family knew about the relationship way before she passed away. And also, this is before she was reported missing in 2024, she was allowed to live in Los Angeles with her aunt. Before she was reported missing, she lived with her aunt. Close by David. The detective further testified investigators learned that Celeste's aunt and cousins were aware of this relationship and that text messages indicated D4VD attended church with Celeste's family. So the family knew about David and David knew about the family, and they all knew each other very, very well. He also agreed D4VD had picked Celeste up to go to the mall. So that whole situation of them seeing the car, the Tesla, pull up in Lake Elsinore, yeah, he knew. They knew. And it seemed like they were fine with it. D4VD defense asked whether investigators determined Celeste's adult sister knew about the relationship and went with them to Las Vegas. The detective clarified that the sister traveled separately and stayed in a different hotel, but confirmed investigators were aware of those circumstances. Then, defense brought up, who knew of D4VD and Celeste's relationship before this death happened? She first asked whether the investigators determined Celeste's school friends knew about the relationship prior to the initial missing persons report in February of 2024. This is when the detective answered yes. School knew. Parents knew. Friends knew. Extended family knew. He also confirmed D4VD's mother was aware of the relationship as well. Dookie face doo-doo head's mama knew this as well. Celeste's family entered the courtroom during this portion of the testimony. All right. So again, guys, it's wild to me that everybody knew. Everyone knew. But you want to know what's even more insane to me? You want to know what's even more insane to me? What's insane to me is that they're really trying to exercise a potential defense argument. Self-defense. Because she was so angry. She was so overwrought with jealousy. And I'm sure sadness and desperation that she said, I'm going to expose you. And I'm willing to lie to make your life a living hell. If you really are dating Asia, I will make sure your life is a living, mother-loving hell. I will find you and I will break you. And they're trying to say, yeah, she showed up to that house and like viciously attacked him. And so he had to protect himself. And so he took her life. But then instead of just calling 911 and making sure she's okay, making sure she's safe and all that, and, you know, whatever, if it was self-defense, no, he ends up letting her leak out, letting her fade away. And then he does all this other stuff, buys all the material, buys all this extra stuff, and then ends up putting her in the front trunk of his Tesla to rot, turn into liquid, for Christ's sakes, in the car. Everyone knew, guys. Every single person knew about this relationship. Everyone. Maybe not Neo, maybe not Asia at the time and all that. But the people that should matter the most, the ones that raise us, the ones that are there, who bring us into this world and that are there to protect us, allowed this to happen. Allowed the relationship, to happen. Not the murder. Yeah, Mimi, you ain't wrong on that. Now the delete everything video makes a lot of sense. It does. It does. It really does. I mean, it already made sense before, but now it makes a lot of sense. Have mercy. Okay. Let me see if there's any what's interesting is I don't see any. No one has come out with any updates, but let me see. I know like Brian Enton's still out there as well. This is just this is really disheartening. I just want to make that abundantly clear. This is absolutely heartbreaking, appalling. And now I feel like Asia may have to make another video here soon and speak out on this, because the way she was talking the other time in this other video she did, it didn't sound like this. I didn't see it like this. You see what I'm saying? This is a completely different situation, guys. Completely. Like, shocking revelations just happened. Shocking. Have mercy. Have mercy. And so now more than ever, now this is the reason why I'm like, okay, I guess this is the reason why the parents didn't want to jump across, like, Celeste Rivas's parents didn't jump across, run across the courtroom and put their hands on him. You know what I'm saying? It's because they've been known. They've been known, guys. So all the stuff that we were hearing back in the day is true. Not all of it, but, portions of this is actually true. Okay? So let me show you what I mean. I just did a video about this, but now, holy crap, this would actually be 110% true. I really do think, like, really quick, I really think that Asia has a lot of explaining to do. No, she didn't raise the knife onto, I don't think she has anything to do with the demise of Celeste, but she has some explaining to do. I'm sorry. She has a lot of explaining to do. She really does. But let me show you guys. I just did this video. I just did a video about this comment here. And now I'm seeing it different because now we're hearing more. They confirmed a lot today. Everyone knew. Y'all, that's just so, you realize how insane that is. Everyone knew, baby. Everyone. I'm sorry I keep saying that over and over and over again, but I mean, we've been covering this for several months, this case. And we've all been like, there's been a lot of like, the parents didn't know, and then it's like the parents knew, and then it's like, no, they didn't know, and then they knew, and here's the proof, and blah blah blah. But now we're hearing more and more stuff, and it's like, oh my word. They knew. This is crazy. But like I said, I saw this, and I know that, like, some people think this is fake, but now when you hear this stuff that we're hearing today, just now, I'm looking at this different now. This is translating to me something new, something brand new. All right. So apparently somebody went to this content creator by the name of Mason Monroe, and he spoke out, or they spoke out, basically saying that the neighbors, they're neighbors of Celeste, and that the parents knew this entire time. They knew everything. And that, and then also they said, this is the part I don't agree with, but they said, D4VD is not to be blamed. Like, blame the parents, basically. No. It's blame D4VD. And D4VD is not an innocent man here. He is not in any way, shape, or form. But it's possible parents dropped the ball on this little girl. It's just insane. All right. So, and this is like broken English. It's really jacked up. So just ride with me, okay? So it's, yes, I used to live by Celeste, and yeah, she used to watch the kids for me. And no, she did not run away as everybody pictured to see what she ran away. I don't know why they wrote it that way, but, maybe to see why she ran away. I don't know. Her mother and dad knew where she was at the entire time they met David. They approve of him. We have money. He had car. He had a place. So they approved of him being from a Hispanic culture like that. Once our parents meets our partner and see that he could take care of us, they let us move in with them. So it's more common than you think. Is it more common? I mean, listen, I am in no way, shape, or form a person that could sit there and go, well, the Hispanic culture, I know it so well. I don't know that at all. Okay? I don't know. But maybe y'all know something. Okay. Peg, Deb, what updates? What updates? Are there more updates somewhere? Let me know. Because I'm gonna crush through this. But so again, a younger girl could be dating a guy several years older, and that's normal. According to this person who's commenting this. Now, I don't know if this is true or not. This is just what we're reading, okay? I don't know the Hispanic culture like that, okay, with all due respect. Now, here's the thing. They're like, hey, if you could take care of her and you're a good man, you got a nice place, and okay, everything's cool, according to this particular person's comment. And I'm telling you right now, she was still not even like 17, 18 years old, okay? She was still little. She was a child. So that's a massive problem. So I say miss me with the nonsense on that a little bit. But let's continue. Her parents knew where she was at because everybody have her location through her friends plus me and her parents. And yeah, she was pregnant. But her mom took her to go to get a termination. Interesting, because her mother told her she had to wait till marriage to even come out publicly in the family with the baby and stuff like that. So she wants to go to school, so they offered to homeschool her, but he needed, LOL, parents' signature and or authorization. Hold on. This happened to me before. Parents' signature or authorization, because technically they are still our legal guardians until they was married. So her mom refused because she was getting government assistance where that she was at in the area, and she didn't want to get that up or give that up. So when the school and stuff call or showed up, they told them that she was at a cousin house, and then they couldn't use that excuse anymore. What's really interesting, though, is this is true now. This part is actually true, because she did go move in at a cousin's house. She went and lived with her auntie in L.A. So she did move. That is true. So this neighbor, this person who's saying this stuff, could actually be correct, because we just found out about this, and this apparently came out a few days ago. This comment, these messages. Fascinating, right? So maybe this person who's writing to Mason Monroe is telling the truth. Wild. So they were getting government assistance. They were getting a check, basically, for Celeste. And they didn't want to lose that money. Interesting, right? They said she ran away, and they made one flyer and had it up for like one day to make it seem like she ran away. But she didn't run away, so they couldn't get so they could get off their so she didn't run away, so they could get off their parents' back and stop coming around. I guess the police. I guess. She never ran away. Everybody knew where she was at because she brought David home to meet her parents and her family. Everybody knew David in the area of Lake Elsinore, who lived close by her, and because she was proud and showed them off. And yes, hold on. And hold on, sorry. And introduced everybody to him. Like hey, this is David. This is my partner, blah, blah, blah. So we already know who he was in the area and where they say that he was paying people off. He didn't pay nobody off because That's the money that's a less owed. Oh, I think that Celeste owed, though. Okay, sorry. So he wasn't paying any people off. He was paying off a debt that she owed. $1,000? Damn. So she owed some money. Okay, I guess she borrowed some money when during the time she was in school because her mom and dad wouldn't give her money for lunch. So she would go and borrow money from somebody. $1,000 worth of lunch money? Damn, that's a lot of money. But okay. But she was walking around showing all these people off, showing them off, letting them know, this is my man. This is D4VD, everybody, right? Yes, everybody when she first brung him home to meet her parents, I was on my porch as she brung him to me first to meet him. He sounded very educated and very sweet. He spoke with manners. I know he loved her. He spoke about marriage in the future and getting them a house close to her family. I believe he was 17 or 18 at the time I met him. Like I said, it's very common for young Hispanic females to date old people. Interesting. Okay. No, I didn't believe he was. I didn't believe that he was. He was when she came. I don't believe that he was when she came to the home every other weekend. And every weekend she looked clean. Hair was done, clean clothes. She looked happy. They acted like a couple. I remember asking him how they met. They said online gaming, and I said, "Oh, so this is the boy you was on with all the time." And she was like, "Yeah," with a smile. She hate being on camera because her parents always seen her as a bank. I don't believe he did it. To be honest, I feel like someone helped him or did it for him. He wouldn't do anything to her. That was his soulmate, he described. Okay. Yes, she was there at every tour. Her parent gave her passport to her and signed for her to go. David only paid. The clothes y'all see her in all the time was her comfort clothes. Her mom will always mention how big she was, or how big she was getting, or how big her thigh was. Always making her fat jokes. Was always making fat jokes around family. I guess she was, yeah. Interesting, right? Interesting. The last time I saw her was June 2024 at her aunt's birthday party. David brung gifts and all. Hug everyone. Celeste didn't want to go or be there because they all was asking about when she was getting married or when they having a baby or why she was so thick with a bunch of K's in thighs that she needs to stop overeating. Interesting. Interesting. I will say that. But let's get over to Mark the Shark. Apparently he's doing an update here. Let's take a look. This is just crazy. I cannot believe
that charge is not right. That there was no open case, no open investigation into David in regards to Celeste Rivas, or that she went to the police in order. I don't want to connect to the microphone because then it's going to come out. About it. All right, that's fine.
Get to the facts. This is insane, y'all. Insane. Hit the like button down below, please.
So
and thank you.
There was
Don't
a lot
forget
of
to subscribe.
information going on today, and so let me go over some of the stuff.
Please and thank you.
Age is pretty, says Kevin. Okay. sure. Return that mic. So they're doing closing arguments right now. The prosecution needs like 10 more minutes, so we're gonna go to lunch. We're gonna come back, and the prosecution's. So pretty much the closing arguments for the defense is they're saying that, for my opinion, they're saying that David is the one that was that had no history of violence, that he loved Celeste, that he was supporting her even in time of breakups, and so the defense's closing arguments pretty much were, look, David is innocent here. David loved her, and it was just hard to hear that this guy loved a minor. That's their defense. The closing arguments were his defense, and then the closing arguments too for the defense was saying that that they are moving for the evidence that there's not sufficient evidence here for all 4 counts, and so they're saying that David wasn't lying in wait. That's their argument. That there's no proof. They're pretty much saying that there is no proof, and that the prosecution has the burden of the proof, and that the defense feels like there isn't sufficient evidence for any of these counts, and that there is no malice with David, that there's no intent. There was no intent to kill her. There's no hiding the body. There was no intent for any of that. That's the defense's position in this, and that's the defense's position of David's innocence. It's really hard to watch and listen when the defense's closing arguments is that David loved her, David supported her, and that David was pretty much the victim here in all of this, and that David was yeah, I know, right? It's like laughable that there's no proof. It's like there's tons of proof, but there was also the defense was saying that David was the one that had domestic violence against him per Celeste Rivas, but they struck that from the record because they were saying that they just struck it. So I don't know. It's pretty hard to watch, man. It was pretty hard to watch, and they were also saying too that in the text messages that on April 23rd, 2025, that there was no intent for, and again, this is from the defense's closing arguments, okay, that there is no text messages that David intentionally was lying in, and that David ever threatened Celeste Rivas with her life, that it was the opposite, that Celeste Rivas was the one threatening David's life and dismembering him and mutilating him and, mutilating his penis. That was the text message that was presented, that she wanted to mutilate his penis, and that she was going to kill him, that she was going to expose him, and that she was going to tell lies to her Celeste Rivas' dad, her dad. So the defense is saying that there's no evidence that David that day was planning to kill her, that there was no malice there, there's no proof of that, and that also that he was live streaming, game playing an hour before Celeste Rivas arrived from Lake Elsinore. And that their argument is that they don't know whether David was inside or outside the home at that time of the text messages, when they were when she was when David was at the house. One of their defense was saying that, asking the witness was saying that, do they know whether or not he was inside or outside the house? So that they brought that up again too, that we're unclear, was he in the house, was he outside of the house? And the detective's like, well, we have information that is, kind of shows that he's in that area. Yeah. Right, why would it matter exactly? It's like they're just grasping at straws. And I don't know, man. It's hard to watch, man. It is hard to watch the defense's closing arguments, man. It is just, unbelievable, man. And you know, when you think they're gonna do something good, they fall flat. It just always falls flat. And that happened right now. And let me see what else. I wrote a ton of notes, man. I wrote a ton of notes because it was quick and I mean, a lot of legal jargon too that it just goes over my head. But the gist of it is that they're painting David as the victim here. They're painting David as the one that had domestic violence against him. Yeah. They're painting David as this like savior.
Yeah, that's what's crazy about this. They're literally trying to make it seem like this guy was just like, you know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Like he did no wrong, that he's a victim. Yet she's the one who was found in pieces in his car. You see what I'm saying? Oh yeah, you know, there's been incidents. There's been another incident in the past where she put her hands on him or something like that. Well, that doesn't change anything. That doesn't change the fact that she still lost her life at the hands of this man. It doesn't even matter if he was like really scared that she was going to go over there and unleash on him. Let's just say that. Let's just say if she was. Still doesn't justify him doing what he ended up doing to her. She's still gone. She is still unalive. She was still nowhere to be found for several weeks, several months, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? So again, like the fact that it's almost in a way that they're grasping at straws at this one, in my personal opinion. It's like, well, it was self-defense. No, this is not self-defense. Were there any defensive wounds on his body? Did we ever see that? No. You see what I'm saying? Did we see any wounds on her body aside from, they said that there was a couple, like, it seemed like some scratches on her hand, right? On the back of her hand, they said something about that. And that, you know, let's not forget the stab wounds that were in her chest. You know what I'm saying? Like, it really doesn't matter. This guy did this. He shouldn't have done what he did. He's a piece of trash.
As this guy that supported Celeste and that he loved Celeste and he would never do something like this. I mean, they're really grasping the defense. And they're saying there's no surveillance of that day, of that night. How come there's no surveillance? And the detective's like, well, everything's been overwritten. It's been so much time with the body decomposing that everything's been overwritten. I'm just looking over my notes. Oh, and also the defense was also saying that Celeste Rivas is the one doing the threats, not David. They said Celeste Rivas is the one saying, I'm going to kill you. The defense is saying, that Celeste Rivas is saying, I will strangle you. They're saying that Celeste Rivas is the one provocating these text messages, that she's the aggressor, that she's the one that has these issues of suicide and bipolar. They brought that up too, that they have, you know, that she has this bipolar disorder.
BPD.
Let's see. Oh, the other closing arguments too that the defense was saying was that their argument was that the medical examiner couldn't say what instrument was used to kill her. They said that the medical examiners don't know between the time of one stab wound to the next, that they don't know what happened. The defense was saying that the medical examiner is unsure or is unclear of what their expertise is with whether or not she bled internally or externally. These are their arguments. I'm just reporting. They were asking about the chest penetration, the penetration wound on her chest. That was in their closing arguments. And whether or not that would make it difficult to breathe. I mean, it's just like common sense stuff that you're like, are you kidding me? Like, are you really saying that? Let's see. They're saying the lying in wait too, that there's no evidence of that they need proof of that he was in a position of advantage for life, for that to be, that there was no evidence of that. that if anything, that Celeste Rivas was the one wanting to go to his place that night on the 23rd of April 2025. That Celeste was the one begging to go to his house, and that David kept saying no, or that David was wanting to make up excuses that his parents were going to be there, that he had to leave, and let's meet after the tour. And so they were pushing that too in the closing arguments, that the defense was saying, look, Celeste Rivas was the one demanding to be there with David, demanding that he'd answer, and demanding to come over. The other closing argument, was that he was online gaming an hour before Celeste Rivas came over, and that wasn't lying in wait. So they're saying that that the prosecution failed to show that he was in line and waiting. They also said that that the prosecution failed to show proof of economic benefit. And then I wrote right here too that David looks relaxed and confident. When the defense was speaking, he looked real confident. He looked sure of himself. So I made sure to write a note on that. The defense also was saying that there's no proof that he killed a witness to silence a witness. That there's no evidence of that. They're saying that there was no open case on David as a witness, and therefore that charge is not right. That there was no open case, no open investigation into David in regards to Celeste Rivas, or that she went to the police in order for that charge to stick, because they're saying she's not a witness to these crimes because she didn't go and report it. Okay. Again, this is the defense's closing arguments, and they're saying that that Celeste was only going to expose him socially to his friends, family, to his dad, to ruin him financially, but never to the police. Right, and then I wrote another note. This is when the mom was shaking her head at the defense. She just kept going like this, like shaking her head. We were all shaking our heads, but they also brought up Celeste Rivas' mental state, and also brought up David's mental state too. That there's no proof of malice here. And then the people came back. The people were having closing arguments. And actually, you know what? The closing arguments from the prosecution, we're going to go back after lunch, but they said that they have 10 more minutes. But the closing arguments from the prosecution were fire, man. They were just on point. They were sticking to the facts. They were sticking to, look, they were citing other cases, Supreme cases. They were just on fire, man. Beth Silverman was just rapid firing these bullet points, these points that were that the defense was saying. And so, I mean, everybody was paying attention, man. She was just bullet point after bullet point after bullet point. Yeah, no proof of malice. I mean, it's ridiculous, man. But
yeah, no proof of malice is taking me out. Bunch of bullshnish.
So I'm just looking at my notes. Give me 1 second. So Beth Silverman was saying that 20 minutes of arrival of Celeste Rivas' arrival, he's already like trying to create his own defense. And then Beth Silverman is saying, look, she was likely stabbed twice, and that's the cause of death. Destroyed and concealed the body for 5 months. There was 2 penetrating wounds to the torso, and it took 2 minutes to bleed out. So her argument is that there is evidence to show that she bled out. Right? So when you cut yourself, you bleed out. And so the defense was saying, well, there's no proof of that. And Beth Silverman's like, look, a little bit of common sense goes a long way.
That,
when someone gets stabbed.
No kidding. Have mercy. Stop.
Beth Silverman also said that when this happened, if this was a case of self-defense, or if this was a case of Celeste Rivas harming herself, David didn't call the police. He didn't call friends. He didn't call the police. And this was kind of interesting what Beth Silverman said. She said maybe David called his family, which was interesting. So I'm wondering if maybe there was some communications with David and his family, because Beth Silverman, that kind of surprised me when she said maybe David didn't call friends, didn't call the police, but maybe David called his family after the stabbing.
Yo, that's crazy. But here's the thing. I want to say this. Just because he may have called them does not automatically mean that phone call was, entailed him saying, like, I just stabbed her. You know what I mean? Maybe nothing happened. Maybe he didn't say anything at all. Maybe they don't know anything. Maybe he just called being like, hey, so we're going to, and just talking up, acting like nothing was going on. Maybe even more disturbing, like if he called his family while she was leaking, while she was slowly fading away, would be even more sinister and even more messed up. But let's continue. That's crazy though, guys. That's crazy. Do me a favor, guys, though. Please do me a favor. Do me that solid. Hit that like button down below, please, and thank you. Crush that mother-loving like button down below. And, of course, do not forget to subscribe. Please and thank you. Let's continue. That's crazy that he was on the phone with somebody.
Okay, so once Beth Silverman saying that once Celeste Rivas makes the threat of the prosecution states David set in motion. Once she said those threatening text messages to expose David, that's when the prosecution states that David set in motion a plan, just like he planned to get her out of her home, and just like he planned to rendezvous with Celeste. That this was all a plan from David. The line in wait, Beth Silverman is saying that there has to be a position of advantage. And she said that David did have a position of advantage. He is expecting her. The gate is unlocked. So that is proof of David having an advantage. The prosecution always stating that Celeste Rivas was sexually abused. She was groomed. And the prosecution, Beth Silverman, was saying that David was gaslighting Celeste Rivas and that she was a young victim of David. So here's the position of line and wait. She came back and she said, this was interesting, listen to this. So the position of advantage of David had a position of advantage. That's the line and wait. The line in wait is you have to have a position of advantage. And Celeste Rivas believed that they were going to hook up again. They said that they would drink. They said that they would eat, and then they would have sex. David would send her back to Lake Elsinore. So it is believed that Celeste Rivas, in this argument, that they were going to she was going to get picked up, same thing, go to his house, have sex, eat, drink, have sex, and then be taken back to Lake Elsinore, because that's all they did based on the text messages that Celeste Rivas was saying to David. So it's believed that that's what she thought they were going to do, and his position of advantage was that he was setting a motion and plan after she had threatened to expose him, and say lies about him to her dad and his friends and workers, his co-workers too.
Okay, so here's something. I don't know about that so much, that part. Okay, let me just say this. I really think that it was going to be, sure, they may have hooked up. You know what I mean? That in her mind, maybe her plan was to go up there, sure, eat, hang out, have a little drink, and then, make up, possibly hook up. But I think the whole reason why she wanted to go up there was to clarify and figure out whether or not her man was seeing other people. I think that's the first and foremost thing that she was trying to do. And maybe trying to convince him to not leave her, to keep the relationship going. And, you know, she did go off. I don't blame her for going off. I mean, if you're in love, you're young, you're in love, and you're finding out that another person that you may, that you may already know, that you've known in the past, is now stepping into your position as a possible girlfriend. Yeah, I can see somebody being really pissed off about that. I can see some anger about that. So I keep thinking that maybe she was hoping to get over there, have a conversation while eating, discuss some things, figure some things out, and then maybe they, you know what I mean? Like they make up, they maybe hook up, and then yeah, she goes back home happy, thinking like, hey, I got him back. He's not venturing off. We're going to be together. Or it's going to be we're going to eat and we're going to talk and we're going to I'm going to find out what's really going on. Yes, he wants to date somebody else. Okay, fine. I'm sorry for being so angry. I'm sorry for, flying off the handle and losing my mind like that. But hey, you deserve to be happy. I deserve to be happy. Okay, you do your thing. I'm going to go do mine. You know what I mean? That could very well be what happened here, or what she was thinking was going to happen when she got up there. But she did say, and I'm not justifying I'm not justifying any of his actions, just so you know, but I'm thinking she did say some very damning things in those text messages. And maybe, he's like, I don't want that hanging over my head for the rest of my life. And so he made the decision to attack her. Of course, they're trying to go the whole, it's self-defense. He was scared for his life. No, shut up. In no way, shape, or form was he worried about his own life. He was worried about his career. He's worried about this girl that maybe he's trying to holler, finding out that, that he's been with somebody that he shouldn't have been with. Let's not forget, too, Asia did say in a video that we watched, where she finally speaks out, she did say, and we could do the reverse math, where she did go up to David and say, hey, I heard you're with somebody. You were with, like, Celeste is not of age. And he goes, that's a lie. Look, here's proof. She is of age. I got proof right here. Lying to Asia, by the way. But it got out to him. But it got out to her. Remember what she said. Hold up. We're coming back to Mark the Shark. Don't worry. But I just want to point this out. Remember what she said in these messages. What did she say? She said something about even getting a second phone, making up fake accounts, and making David's life a living hell. Right? Hold on. Let me just find it. Nope, it's way up here. Further up. Look. If you see Asia one more time, I will make anonymous accounts. You won't be able to avoid me leaking all that ish I got on you. Right here. Next one. Next minute also. And I have all the old phone numbers from my own phone, my old phone. It's printed so I can find your mom's number to text her next time. So don't test me. Here's another one. I also have Nathan's fiance on my phone as well. So word will spread to your work girl. Now, I don't know if he means this is his work girl, like Asia is his work girl, or if it's supposed to be so word will spread to your work girl. You see what I'm saying? But clearly, she's like, I'm about to expose you, and you're about to hear, people are going to hear this, and it's going to come back. You know how, like, some people have work husbands and work wives, which is still weird to me. I think that's weird, okay? But she said, I also have Nathan's fiance on my phone as well. So word will spread to your work, girl. So yeah, she mad that he was out here gallivanting with scallywags. And that scallywag happened to be Asia Collins. She got mad about that. She's not happy about him trying to spit game at her. So then she said, I'm gonna make up fake accounts and I'm gonna destroy your life. Okay? Leaking all the ish I got on you. I'll expose your whole ass and make your life a living hell. Now, I don't know who Nathan is. I'd like to know who Nathan is as well. But you could see. So it'll spread, right? And then what happened? What did we hear from Asia in her recent video when she finally broke her silence? She said, a friend of mine told me that you were dating somebody who is not of age. That Celeste is not of age. And then what did David do? David turned around and said, no, that's not true. She is of age. I have proof. Here you go. She is legal. So everybody's tripping, y'all. That's crazy. People talking, spreading rumors and everything. That's because maybe Celeste put out some stuff already. So he was already catching wind that she was already spreading rumors. And he wanted those rumors to stop. The girl that he's trying to holler at, that is an older version of Celeste, basically, okay? She light-skinned with dark features, right? Another muse for him, right? Suddenly now, she's asking him now. The news is coming to her. Oh, crap. As she's also sitting here saying, I will spread word about all these things that you've done, and I will even lie. I will lie. I will make things up to make your life a living hell, which, by the way, she wouldn't have to do much. She wouldn't even have to lie. She would just have to tell the truth out here in these streets, and everybody would be clutching their pearls and not wanting to mess with this kid. This guy would be locked up already if she was to expose what he's done to this girl. Do you understand? So now he's realizing, oh, crap, the word is out there. Shoot, Asia's now talking to me about it. The news moved fast. And I need this to stop. So then she comes up I'm thinking that she probably is trying to be like, this is either they're going to have closure and they're going to say goodbye, or they're going to make up and she's going to be like, I'm sorry. I know I get crazy sometimes. I'm so insane. I'm sorry, but I love you. And then they get back together and everything's fine. That's what she's thinking in her head. But in his mind, as she's on her way up here, he's like, man, we ain't got time. Things are about to blow up. And she about to make my life a living hell if she has all this information. Especially a lot of this information's on her mother-loving phone. So, of course, bring her up. Let's chop it up. Let's have a conversation. Break bread, maybe. But they didn't even have time for that. She walked in that room. 20 minutes later, she's dead. Like I said, this was not self-defense. There is premeditation here. There is lying in wait, in my personal opinion. It's just not lying in wait 5 days. You know what I'm saying? He planned this as she was getting up there. You can still lie in wait 15 minutes before somebody loses their life. 15 minutes before somebody shows up. He knew that she was on her way up to see him. That was an 1.5 hour ride from Lake Elsinore to the Hollywood Hills. He knew exactly where she was coming from, how long it was going to be. He sat there. He knew what was going on. She showed up. She walked into the room. She walked into the house. She walked through the gate. She walked through the already unlocked door, and he attacked her. That's it. This is still lying in wait, in my personal opinion. It still is. But let's continue. Let's let Mark the Shark do his fantastic work.
So Beth Silverman cites an 1989 Supreme Court case. She cited about 2, 3, 4 cases. And that she's saying for the financial gain, she was saying that not only that you have a financial gain, but not only that, but it's also financial loss. That's also counts as this charge. Is that you don't have to necessarily have to gain something, but it's because you're going to lose something too. And I thought that was brilliant. How Beth said that it doesn't mean that you financially have something to gain from killing Celeste Rivas, but that you also have financial loss.
Good point.
She was saying that they had a dirty secret. They had sexual relationships over a year. They were that he was trying to silence a witness. Promised to expose his relationship socially and to law enforcement because the sheriffs of Riverside County were called for a welfare check on 804 Doheny Drive or Doheny Place. That's when they spoke with David for that welfare check for Celeste Rivas to see if she was there. And at that time, when because the argument was that the defense was saying that Celeste Rivas had told David that she was 18 in the times of the communications or 16 at the times of the communications when David met Celeste Rivas on Discord. And that backfired because the prosecution, Beth Silverman, was saying, look, at the time when David knew the age of Celeste Rivas, because when the officers went to the home on 804 Doheny, he was showing pictures of her yearbook. He knew about the missing posters. So they're saying he knew at this time that Celeste Rivas was a minor. And here's something new that I didn't catch until today. When the sheriffs went to David's home, he got a heads up that people were gonna go and check in to his home to check for Celeste Rivas. He had a heads up. So they were saying that Celeste Rivas was living at that home at 804 Doheny Place. Okay? That was interesting to me. So he got a heads up and he hid, I don't know where or how, or he got Celeste Rivas out of there, but she was living with him when the sheriffs went there for that welfare check. I mean, that blew my mind. He got alerted by the detectives, by the sheriffs, that they were going to go over there for a welfare check, and that's when. I mean, why would they do that? Why would they give him a heads up? I mean, I don't know, man. It's just, this whole thing is frustrated, but that I didn't know that she was. He got tipped off, and so they were saying that the detectives called them. Hey, we're going to go there. We're going to check and see if Celeste Rivas is there. So when they went there, he had knowledge, proof that Celeste Rivas was a minor because he showed them a photograph of a yearbook of her.
6th grade yearbook.
Oh, this too. I forgot to mention.
Hold on, I need to react to that too, really quick. I do agree, Just Joe. It's a bit dodgy for them to be like, hey, buddy, sheriff's office, we're on our way up to your house. Yeah, we just need to do a check in your house to see if a little girl's there. So we'll see you soon, D4VD. And they show up after the fact. Like, that's weird. That's really, really weird. Don't you find that a little odd? I find that a little odd. Like, aren't they just supposed to just show up? You know? Just show up. Ding dong. Hi, surprise. Yeah, we're here to check your house because we apparently know that you have a kid in the house that ain't yours. Yeah, you didn't spawn that child. You didn't sire that child. You're just holding the child in your house, and she's missing. So, yeah, surprise. We're here. Open your door. That's it. Let us in. Or we'll go back, get a warrant, and we'll be right back. It's your choice. You pick. They called him ahead of time to let him know that they were coming in to do a surprise inspection of his house. You know what I mean? That doesn't make sense. It doesn't. But LA be weird. LA be weird.
I mentioned this last time, but they had said this in the closing arguments too, that David was tracking Celeste Rivas's periods, which is disgusting. Okay.
Wild.
David Anthony Burke was tracking Celeste Rivas's periods in order for them to not get pregnant.
Because they kept on getting knocked up. That's what it sounds like to me. She was already very, God, that's so crazy to say, but she was very fertile. Because they've already had they already had an accident before. And so now he's like, well, now I got to set it up. Now I got to follow everything because you just never know. I don't want her to be with child again. So now he's tracking that's weird, man. That's weird. It's weird, guys. That's very weird. Very, very freaking weird.
He made Celeste Rivas download a period app. It's called Flow Tracker.
Wow.
He made Celeste Rivas download a flow tracker, and he was charging. He was tracking Celeste Rivas when she would ovulate. He would write everything down. He would track it, and for keeping her pregnant. And then they reiterated that David was the last person to drive the Tesla, and they never found that phone either, the one that it was connected to the Tesla. But he is the last person connected to that phone, his phone number. They talked about the tattoos, that at the time of David's arrest, he had a tattoo of Celeste on his pinky, on his index finger. Yeah, so the iPhone 16 that he had was never recovered. September 7, 2025, but an iPhone 15 was recovered from his phone, showing CSAM material. They also mentioned that after Celeste was killed, that's when David started to create numerous aliases and emails and numbers. The shovel was never recovered. The shovel was never found. The chainsaw was missing. The Makita. They were saying that the burn cage was an attempt for David to burn her body and to dispose of evidence, but that plan might have not succeeded. So then that's when he tried to do something different. So they're alleging that David did try to burn her body or try to dispose of her that way. And even though that the phone belonged to Celeste Rivas, the ones that was found at 1368 Doheny Drive, that it still showed pictures of CSAM of the defendant, which is corroborating evidence. iCloud. She said that the iPhone iCloud described text messages that were intense in nature, of intercourse, but not only intercourse, but of oral and sodomy as well. Plan B, abortion, making a family, miscarriages, marriage. Marriage. There was talked about marriage with that iCloud account, with the text messages, that it continued beyond the end of 2024, and that the defendant knew that she was a minor, and that the defendant used the victim for sex, and that, yeah, she did have mental issues because of the relationship she had with David, the suicide, the bipolar. I thought that was brilliant too. And that this whole having sex with Celeste Rivas and David Anthony Burke was that's all they did, and that this whole sexual relationship caused Celeste Rivas to become jealous, to become angry, and that's when she wanted to expose David, because she was going through all this mental anguish, this physical anguish, and that this whole jealousy thing, it messed with her mind. And so this whole jealousy about Asia and the paranoia if they had sex or not, it was getting to her. And it just shows the progression, the decline of her mental state too.
I mean, like I said, I'm very interested to hear what Asia has to say about any of this, because this is extremely disheartening. And I'm sure she knows a lot. I'm sure investigators told her, at least some of the stuff that's going on here. But yeah, it's bad, and it's sad because to be in the middle of this, to be the reason why everything spun out of control. I'm sure it's hard to hear, but if you really think about it, Asia, Asia might have to speak out again. She might have to do a whole other video about this because, this is not good. Yeah.
And so that's what David did. He would get a Uber to pick her up, take her back from Lake Elsinore, take her back to the Hollywood Hills, and that's all they would do. Is the prosecution is claiming that they would eat, drink, and have sex, and take her back to her home. That she would be in the car for 2 hours, one way, and that he constructed a cover-up. Driving up to Santa Barbara, they mentioned that the purse, Celeste Rivas' purse, was not found, and that there was a short timeline in between when she got to David's home at 10:10 and the tracking of his Tesla and his phone, that there was such a small timeline that's when they believe that's when she was killed. And he wanted to distance himself from the crime. Orders a kill kit, orders all these parts, again, the chainsaw, the burn pit, and that David went on like nothing happened after he killed Celeste, allegedly. And that they're also saying that David disposed of evidence along the way of going to Santa Barbara. They're saying that they believe that they disposed of he disposed of the fingers, that he disposed of the chainsaw, the purse, and other evidence along that route that he took going up north to Santa Barbara, and then recharging at that 2621 charging station in Santa Ynez. We went there. We did that route. It's extensive. It is wide. It is unbelievably just as far as the eye could see. So a lot of things could be somewhere there, but I believe that those evidence that he disposed of might be on the side of the road somewhere, just like the passport card was found. And they're saying that that's where he wanted to dump her body, in Santa Barbara.
My theory exactly.
At this time, when the prosecution is up, David, I made a point that David is looking down. He's kind of looking like this, but he's looking down. He doesn't look as confident as when the prosecution is up as he is when the defense is up in the closing arguments. So the victim's passport was found in January 2025, the exact same area David went, and then he went 2 other times on May 8th, 2025, or was it April and May? I gotta get those dates, but I know May 31st because I was writing it real quick. But he went 2 other times, so in total he went 3 times to Santa Barbara, and that's where they believe that David was disposing of evidence. All right, so we got to go back at 1:30. So that's it for my notes. Crazy stuff, man. Unbelievable stuff, crazy stuff. But I'm gonna get some food, guys.
Yeah, that's crazy. Crazy.
Oh yeah, there is a notarized letter from the parents giving Celeste Rivas permission to go on a plane. Yes, that is confirmed. That is confirmed.
To go to London.
Guys, hit the like button if you guys like to support.
Yeah, show some love to Mark the Shark, please, and thank you. He's been doing some really great work out there. This is just crazy. Hold on, let me hear.
See how long it takes, but I want to go to Santa Barbara.
Okay. In Santa Barbara is a little bit of a drive, but it's not the super long drive, but it's a little bit of a drive, depending on the traffic too. And very scenic route. I know that sounds weird, especially with this whole situation, but it is a very scenic route. I will say that. Yeah, this is bad. Really, 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 really bad. Man. Let me look at this. This is from Taylor. Okay. What we know so far from closing arguments at the D4VD preliminary hearing. So Bednarski presented final arguments for the defense, specifically, focusing on the three special circumstances of lying in wait, financial gain, witness killing. Okay. So lying in wait, the defense argued the prosecution failed to prove Burke, D4VD, intentionally concealed his purpose, watched and waited for a substantial period, and carried out a surprise attack from a position of advantage. It was, there is a position of advantage. It's his turf. It's his home. But anyway, she argued the evidence, and I think it was lying in wait because you're still waiting for her to get there. It takes about 90 minutes to 2 hours to get from Lake Elsinore out to him in the Hollywood Hills. He had time to rev himself up, get ready, and do what he needed to do. You see what I'm saying? So, again, interesting. So, she argued the evidence instead showed Celeste Rivas initiated the meeting, insisted on coming over despite D4VD telling her no. Still doesn't mean anything, while also pointing out D4VD was online gaming with friends shortly before she arrived. That could just show how sociopathic he is, how diabolical he is, that he's sitting there chilling. You know what I mean? Like, he's just super fine, right? But, again, interesting. Which he said undercut any claim that D4VD was lying in wait. Bednarski also argued the fatal front-to-back stab wound was inconsistent with a surprise attack. I don't agree with that, but okay, financial gain. They argued there was no evidence D4VD unalived Hernandez for financial gain because the prosecution failed to identify any concrete financial benefit that would result from her demise. The defense said D4VD wanting to protect his musical career was too speculative, arguing future earnings and career prospects are not the type of identifiable financial gain required under the law. Okay, I'm telling you right now, he was concerned about what he was going to lose. And I'm glad that prosecution says that, right? They say, he was concerned about what he was going to lose, not about what he was going to gain. That still can be a concern. My life is going to be destroyed if she says that I'm a PDF file. My life is going to be destroyed if any of these videos that she has in her possession get leaked out to the world. Everyone will know the monster that I am. This will be really, really bad, so on and so forth. There is grounds for that. But anyway, that's interesting that they're trying to do that, right? Witness unaliving, okay? So the defense argued the prosecution failed to prove D4VD's purpose was to prevent Hernandez from serving as a witness in a criminal proceeding, as she made no threat to go to the police. Well, he may have just said, hey, this will get out there. We don't need no police. Court of public opinion is vicious. And then forever he'll be having that hanging over his head. So maybe that's what it was. Overall, Bednarski said there was no evidence in this case, only circumstantial evidence, pointing to a lack of video footage to data to prove what D4VD was doing during the minutes Celeste was suspected to be unalived. Okay, so prosecution countered all these points during their closing arguments, which are still going. They're still ongoing, or as of the last 15 minutes, they are still ongoing because she posted this 15 minutes ago. All right? Where is it? So she noted that all three special circumstances are intertwined. She says, I'm sure the court isn't surprised to hear that the people's position is the exact opposite. Okay, so she said this, responding to each point. To the point of lying in wait, Silverman said, though Celeste made the plan to meet, she did not know what David D4VD had planned for her. The prosecution argued D4VD intentionally lured Celeste into a vulnerable position before taking her life. The prosecution also pointed to the unlocked gate and door referenced in D4VD's texts that he was ready for her to arrive. Yeah. So as soon as she opened the door, boom, he pounces. Silverman stated it does not matter what Burke or D4VD was doing prior to her arrival, only that he was waiting for her. And he was playing video games waiting for her. So he technically was lying in wait. He was waiting. Okay. To the point of financial gain, Silverman argued D4VD's motive was financial, claiming Hernandez, Celeste, had become a threat to his rapidly growing music career. They presented evidence that Burke, D4VD, had recording contracts worth millions of dollars, significant assets, and a career that depended heavily on his public image. They state, great call. Thank God they said that. His public image. Okay, and it doesn't even matter if it was him being a recording artist or if he was working at the local ice cream shop around the corner. It doesn't matter. His public image would be destroyed. Okay, doesn't matter. They stated a firm monetary amount was not required, and future gain was valid under this circumstance. Absolutely. What he would obtain in the future could be destroyed. No one wants to mess with a PDF file. I don't see, you know what I mean? I don't see artists running around doing music videos and songs with potentially convicted PDF files. You see what I'm saying? Just saying. She maintained D4VD stood to protect the financial value of his career and future earnings by eliminating that threat, making financial gain a motivating factor in that killing. To the point of witness killing, Silverman stated D4VD took Celeste's life to prevent her from reporting their relationship to friends, family, and on the internet, as she threatened to do so in their text exchanges. She argued D4VD understood she possessed a serious legal risk and took her life to silence her before she could actually report him, leading to a future criminal proceeding. According to Silverman, witness unaliving stands even if there is not a current criminal proceeding at the time of demise. So at noon, the judge asked how many more minutes does she need. Silverman stated that she needed 10 more minutes. The judge decided to break for lunch at this point. Silverman will resume her closing arguments at 1:30 p.m. That's in about 15 more minutes. Before breaking for lunch, she delivered a chilling line that a reporter in the room muttered, "Jesus." I guess she said her body turned to liquid while he went on tour. This is what she said as she laid out what she believes happened to Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Yeah, I would have said the same thing. Like, damn, she really said it like that. But her body did liquefy. Her body did turn into liquid as he went on tour and lived his life and made that money and continued growing his notoriety and getting his name out there. When in actuality, he should have been locked up a long freaking ass time ago. Again, guys, this is, like I said, this is just absolutely insane. Okay? Absolutely insane, shocking information, shocking turn of events. No one deserves what happened. No one deserves what happened to Celeste. Nobody deserves to be treated in this way. Nobody. This is just absolutely insane that you have something like this happening. It's just insane, guys. Unfreaking believable. So I think for right now, I am going to wrap up for now. But if there are any updates, then I will be back on to give you guys those updates. Because she's only doing 10 more minutes wrapping up, you know what I mean, doing her piece, saying what needs to be said, okay? Oh, hold on. This is, okay, allegedly this is Nathan. I don't know if this is Nathan, but apparently this is being shared to me saying that this is Nathan, followed by D4VD. Right there. This is Nathan. Product designer at Kesco. I don't know who this guy is. I'm going to be really honest. I don't know who this guy is. But that is very interesting, though. Thank you so much, Raven, for sending that to me and sharing that info. So, again, guys, you know, what I'm going to do is, because, you know, she's going to wrap up. She's got 10 more minutes after lunch, and I'm sure there's going to be a decision made. When that decision is made, you know, he'll have his verdict, you know, whether they're going into trial or not. And I'm telling you right now, we will be seeing David again in trial. How soon? I don't know. Hopefully that decision will be made today and we can kind of get a better idea of what's going on, right? And what to prepare for. But I'm telling you right now, David's going down. Okay? D4VD is a piece of trash. Piece of trash. But I definitely will let you guys know what the judge decides. But we already know what's going to happen. He's going to see the inside of a courtroom again. He will be in trial. There's too much evidence here to destroy him. One thing that really pisses me off, because here's the thing. With Asia, let's be real. Everybody needs to chill on the Asia thing. Like, I understand people are mad and they want to point their anger towards somebody. Asia didn't do anything, y'all. She's an innocent bystander in this situation. Real talk. Okay? But now I don't know whether or not she knew Celeste was underage or not and blah, blah, blah for a long time. I don't know about any of that. But as far as this being the thing that started the breadcrumbs that led to Celeste's demise, that is not her doing. That is not her fault. She didn't call up D4VD and say, I need you to take her life. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like that. You see what I'm saying? So, again, she does have some explaining to do. Would love to hear more from her. And hopefully she does speak out about this new revelation. But like I said, we just need to be kind, okay? Be kind to each other. Because, again, I'm sure she's beating herself up about this also as well, okay? Now, as far as everything else, the thing that really bothers me and it really hurts my soul is finding out stuff that I did not want to be true, that the families knew, the school knew, students, friends, everyone knew, extended family knew. That hurts. That hurts to hear that this young girl didn't have a fighting chance because there were too many things and too many people surrounding her life that were okay with this type of behavior, okay with this type of lifestyle. It's sad. It's really sad. No one deserves that. No one. A lot of people failed this child. A lot of people. So many revelations, so many eye-opening moments here. Today of all days, on the last day. But I'm glad we were able to watch it and be a part of it, okay? We're going to have some real conversations here very, very soon. But that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. Really means a lot. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of the conversation. Please do me a favor before we head out. Hit that like button down below. Crush it, do it, a do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, I'm on all of them. So make sure you hit that follow button. Follow. Don't forget to subscribe right here on my YouTube channel. Subscribe right here on the tubes. Also, pinned to the bottom of the chat right over there. Go over and check out my other video that I did Check it out. It's about D4VD as well. Go check it out. All right. Things have changed now, but still nonetheless, give it a gander if you can. Okay? Go to my second channel. Make sure you're subscribed over there, The Pascal Show Clips. Hit that notification bell on both channels so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. Go check it out, PascalMerch.com. Okay, guys, it's time to get going. Much love to you guys. Stay safe out there, and we'll be talking here very, very soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show.